Grim blood. Yeah, bruv. The game ain't hard when you got the trump card. It's all rigged and I'm calling more games than Bob Uecker. Changing the outcomes like Duke Nukem to a new future. Win some, lose some, bag some, choose none. Will the aliens come save the day? Are we going to listen to what they say? The uranium, cranium, aliens popping up like circadians. Got me spontaneously training in the Palladium gymnasium. Ultimate battle in the extraterrestrial stadium. It really just be the Mediterranean and Sylvanians. Bloodlines, overtime, dragon descendants, scripting bread and circus lizards in attendance.
What's up, everybody?
Queens, breaking dreams, dragging me down. The underworld royalty is all about how much you can clown. I'm talking about the number 92. If you didn't know, well now you do. Numerous fears, what's in the hearse? I am who I am, man with a plan. Where you at with the rebellion? 1 in a million, us against a billionaire reptilians. Look at the word.
Can you guys hear me okay?
The same as the rebel lion, ain't even trying, ain't living, you're dying. Well done to the skeleton. No time for rebellion. Strawmen led by spellmen, dialectic.
Pascal, what's up? Can you hear me?
Problem, reaction, solution, little contribution. The script tells that they cast spells like nuclear fusion, spreading confusion, like distribution, old as hell.
Thank you, Sojourn. Thank you, Pascal.
Cranium, aliens popping up like circadians. Got me spontaneously training in the Palladium gymnasium. Ultimate battle in the extraterrestrial stadium. It really just be the Mediterranean Transylvanians. The uranium, cranium, aliens popping up like circadians. Got me spontaneously training in the Palladium gymnasium. Ultimate battle in the extraterrestrial stadium. It really just
Let's get ready to RAMBO. I like that.
Will the aliens come save the day? Are we gonna listen to what they say?
Welcome back, ballers, to another episode of Eye to Eye with AJ, Rambo, and Cody. Best night of the week. Thank you guys for tuning in, and thank you guys for the thumbs up, letting me know about the mic check. Rambo, Cody, can you guys hear me out there?
I can hear you.
Okay, awesome. Rambo, I can hear you. Cody?
Yeah, I can also hear you. Sorry.
Okay, awesome. All right, sounds good. Let's dive right into it. Quick intros. My name is AJ. Balll Don't Lie, 3 L's in Ball. You guys can find all of my work on YouTube where we're streaming tonight, as well as on Instagram. Balll Don't Lie, 3 L's in Ball. Send me an email at wordplaybook, 3 O's in book at gmail.com. Send one to me anytime. Working on a few other projects as well, and I have no problem sending you guys what I've done over the years. So reach out. Would love to chat. Cody.
Thank you to you, AJ, for once again putting this on and bringing this together. And thank you, Rambo, for being here as always, sharing your great insights. And I appreciate you both. And also to all the people in the chat, thank you for being here. And I look forward to this stream. If you guys want to find me, it's on my channel, and we're streaming right now on there. Decoding with Cody at YouTube, and then my Buy Me a Coffee link is also at buymeacoffee.com/decoding with Cody. And let's have a good stream.
We appreciate you, Codes. Thank you again so much. Rambo.
Yeah, thanks again, Cody. I know it's a sacrifice for you, but appreciate you being here, and AJ as well, and the audience. And this is where I can be found. Patreon.com/thetruthcodes. There's only one tier. It's $5 a month, and you have access to the Codebreaker community server where you see the brilliant decodes from other patrons. And you can talk, you can send direct messages with other patrons if you want. You can have your own private conversations as well, other members of the community. And I'm also on Instagram.com/thetruthcodes.
And this isn't a typo, you guys. $5 a month, not a day, not a week. He also has a free tier as well. So if you guys haven't signed up at least for his free tier, please make sure to do so. We might have a special guest joining in. Rambo, I know you were telling me about
Yes.
one of your patrons that was interested in jumping on to share a very cool, very interesting flight code. So
Yeah, that's Josh. He has a mind-blowing decode based on flight numbers and how it synchronizes with professional sports. And I thought there'd be a call-in number, so I was going to have him call out, but I didn't realize you don't have a call-in number anymore. So I guess you can put the link out, and if Josh is there, I'm sure he is, if he could copy the link and he can get on the stream.
Yeah,
to share his decode. Yeah,
absolutely. I just pinned it as well for Josh. This is for Joshua. The link is right there. It's pinned on the screen. It's also in the chat. So please feel free to jump in here. I'll keep an eye out for that. And while we wait for Josh, I guess really quick, I just wanted to throw this in here to maybe kick things off for tonight. Rambo, the Michael Jordan themes continue. This time not in the World Cup, but in Major League Baseball. Right now we have the All-Star game tonight, but the All-Star weekend, started over the weekend. And last night we had the home run derby. And sure enough, Jordan Walker of the St. Louis Cardinals wins the derby. He was a underdog, so to speak, beating Kyle Schwarber. In Philadelphia, so made the story that much more interesting, so to speak, since Kyle Schwarber plays for Philadelphia. But take a look at this really quick. I just wanted to point out that the word home run equals 94 in the simple cipher A1B2C3, but also it equals 146 when you take the capital letters and lowercase letters into account. And both of those matter because when you take a look at Michael Jordan's birthday, measure it to Jordan Walker's birthday, it's a span of 94 days, just like the new home run derby winner. But he also won the home run derby 146 days after Michael Jordan's birthday. Very fitting. Considering that Michael Jordan was born February 17th, the date written 2/17. And sure enough, when you take a look at Kyle Schwarber, who he beat, sure enough, their birthdays are 2 months and 17 days apart. And perfect timing. Looks like we got Josh in on the back end here. So let me take my screen down here. And thank you for listening to my TED Talk. We have Josh on the stage. Josh, can you hear us okay?
Yes, I can. You guys hear me?
Yes.
absolutely.
Can hear you. How you doing, Josh?
I'm doing all right. I would like to thank you guys, AJ, Rambo, and Cody for having me on tonight. I wanted to share a interesting code that happened this weekend between the Cubs and the Yankees. This is the second time this actually has happened since the crash. It happened in the 2025, and it happened this year. Should I share my screen, or do you just want to?
There's a little icon at the bottom. It should look like a monitor with a little plus sign in it.
Okay. I see that share screen.
Yep.
Okay.
And then it'll give you an option to share either your entire screen, meaning we'll see every tab that you click, or you can be screen specific.
Okay, I got you. Probably just do the window. So you guys see my Instagram, right?
I'm sorry?
Do you guys see my Instagram?
Hold on just a second. Let's see. Add to stage. There we go. Yep. You have the screen.
Cool. So you see this part, right? You see the Instagram post right now?
Yes, sir.
Sure. Okay, cool. So American Airlines Flight 5342, this was the crash that happened in the Potomac, over the Potomac, with the Black Hawk helicopter that happened 9 days after Trump took office for the second time. And this was an odd one because when it happened, I remember when it happened, it was right before the Super Bowl. So a lot of plane crashes were happening before the Super Bowl, and in 2025 when this happened, obviously a couple weeks later, Flight 4819 happened, and Rambo put out a very good code about that. And what ended up happening was the Winnipeg Jets fell to 48-19, and the Celtics became 48-19. So when I saw that, I was like, I wonder if a baseball team is going to become 53-42, in game 95. Because in baseball, it's impossible to be like 48-19. You'd have to be on an insane run. So last year, funny enough, the Cubs beat the Yankees. The Yankees became 53-42. They were the only team to become 53-42. And I thought this was interesting going into this year because as we got closer to the 95th game of the season, there was 4 teams that could become 53-42. And the night before the Cubs and the Yankees ended up doing it, which I'll show here, it was the Marlins and the Phillies who faded it. And I knew why they were going to fade it because, as you guys can see here, the dates, 1 year, 163, obviously didn't line up with the Friday games. And 1,163 is the 192nd prime. And on the 192nd day of the year, both the Cubs and the Yankees became 53-42, winning 5-3 and 4-2. Obviously, the crash happened in D.C. where the Yankees were playing the Nationals. And the only thing that I can think of is that these two cities do have Trump Towers. So I'm wondering if that's the theme with this whole ritual, because again, as we go back to last year, it was the Cubs beating the Yankees, and then this year it's the Cubs and the Yankees, the only teams becoming this record. So I'm still trying to, but either way, the fact that it worked out just like this is kind of insane.
That's unbelievable, man.
Yeah. That's. I hope everyone in the chat is realizing how mind-blowing that is. I don't even know what to say. That's crazy. I mean, Rambo, shout out to you for originally finding that 48-19 thing, but that just took it another step farther. That's amazing, bro. Good find.
Yeah, I told you guys this is mind blowing. Yeah, amazing, absolutely. I mean, I did. I got people on the flight numbers, but no, I wouldn't have come up. This is mind blowing. The numbers. It does make you question: are we in a matrix? Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting the scores to even match up. Like I think the craziest part is the scores. I mean, the records is the records, but the scores, I think that really kind of like signifies that we are in some type of numerical matrix as far as what sports is to the public. They don't a lot of the public don't know that it's a numerical matrix.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I mean, it's crazy enough when you see, 2 teams, like in this case, hit that specific number of 53-42, but then to combine the total scores of each team, that's next level stuff for sure. For me, it got me thinking too, just the wordplay. You think about that crash with the American Eagle, you mentioned the Super Bowl. You have the American Eagle crash into the Black Hawk helicopter. We'll notice that it was the Chicago Cubs.
Exactly.
Right? Which kind of, it's almost like paying tribute to that crash in another way, right? With Rome on the Potomac, the Yankees, the Nationals, the DC connection, and then the Cubs, the Chicago connection with the Black Hawk helicopter.
That's very interesting. I actually didn't think about the Chicago Blackhawks. That makes so much sense. That makes so much sense.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. They have the Chicago Blackhawks, but think about it too. The Washington team is is also involved in this.
Exactly.
So Cincinnati is the only one I'm trying to think. Okay.
That one's interesting. I'm trying to figure that one out as well. The Cubs didn't even try the game before that to become 52-42. Like when they lost the day before, they didn't even try. It was this 4-0 game, and then. And funny enough, in both of these games, both teams were trailing by 2 runs at one point. They decided to just, set it up like this. It still blows my mind.
Yeah, that is.
I'm trying to figure out the Reds too, though. That's I don't know.
Yeah, it might have something to do with Ohio.
It could have something to do with just Trump because it's the red. You got 2 red teams here. You know what I mean? You got the blue and the red teams. This is just.
Right.
It's just color symbolism, which again you can take it how it is. There's so many colors that you can do with sports. You know what I mean? That's not too tacky. So.
Well, think about how New York, or first of all, Obama and Trump, the rivalry. So Obama, based out of Chicago, just put up that new center in Chicago, that Obama Presidential Center, and the Cubs, being that might also connect to Charlie Kirk. Think about that. But the blue, like you said, the Democratic Party, the blue teams, and then the Republicans, the red teams. So yeah, we can throw around a lot of ideas. But
doesn't Cincinnati have a very occult society? I'm not sure.
Yeah. So what you're thinking of is, I guess it's sort of a secret society, but it's not that well known. It's called the Society of the Cincinnati.
Okay.
It's not that. It's just not publicized for some reason. And the members of the Society of the Cincinnati are primarily people who served in the United States military, but there are a lot of bloodlines in the Society of the Cincinnati. The first director general of the Society of the Cincinnati is George Washington himself.
Oh wow!
And it does have non-military members, usually people from elite bloodlines. So it is an elite order, and it is based on the ancient Roman. It sounds like an oxymoron, but he was considered a benevolent dictator, and his name was Cincinnatus. The city of Cincinnati is named after Cincinnatus, the benevolent Roman emperor.
Okay.
He actually was a dictator. So what happened with Cincinnatus is they had a rule in Rome because they had a democracy, and the Senate is who elected the emperor. And in a state of emergency, the Senate would not elect. You couldn't go through the voting and election process. So in a state of emergency, you would have a dictator appointed. And once that dictator was appointed, it was up to him when he'd leave. But so the agreement was he'd be in there for a certain amount of time. But if he refused to leave, there's nothing they could do. So Cincinnatus was very righteous, and he came in as a benevolent dictator in a state of emergency. He dealt with the emergency. There's some wars and rebellions going on. He dealt with them. They even say, this is the legend, who knows if it's true, that he even dealt with the enemies very humanely. So he's just really a positive figure, a warrior, but a noble warrior, is Cincinnatus. And at the end of his term, they actually wanted him to stay. But he said, no, my term is over. I'm only a temporary. The term was dictator, and he left. So he's a very noble warrior, a very noble figure. Julius Caesar became emperor under the same rule as an emergency dictator, and Julius Caesar refused to leave. So that's the difference between Julius Caesar and Cincinnatus. So the plural of Cincinnatus is Cincinnati. And Cincinnati is named after, the city of Cincinnati is named after the Emperor Cincinnatus. So the Society of the Cincinnati it is now an elite secret society order. It does have some non-military, but it's mostly military. If you look it up, you'll see some of the members. And it was founded on May 13th, which is why the area code in Cincinnati is 513. May 13th, the founding date of the Society of Cincinnati. So yeah, Cincinnati, I did a lot of work on Cincinnati. I had no idea. It's a very ritually significant, very, very significant city in the United States. It also had the moniker, the City of Seven Hills. Jerusalem is the City of Seven Hills. Athens is the City of Seven Hills. Rome is the City of Seven Hills. Well, Jerusalem as well. Cincinnati as well. And many people feel that the image, the symbol in the book of Revelations of the beast with seven heads is referring to a city of seven hills. So you can put Cincinnati in that list along with Rome, Jerusalem, and Athens. So yeah, that's the significance of Cincinnati.
And Josh, just so you know, I did mute you. I think it was the back end noise, just so we could hear Rambo. So I can take you off mute, but you can also unmute yourself as well. There's a little mute icon. So I just unclicked it.
Yeah, I'll stop sharing with. You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
we
have the
can hear you.
wrong microphone. Oh my God. Hold on, guys. Hold on.
Yeah, I mean, that's I'm still mind blown by that. I'm still
Yeah, honestly, that's one of the best decos I've ever seen. I'm not just saying that. No, that's one of the best decos I've ever seen.
Absolutely.
yeah. Yeah.
I told you guys we worked there. See, I didn't tell you guys anything ahead of time. I wanted you guys to see it for yourselves. I didn't want to say ahead of time so you know what he was going to say. I wanted you to see it so you get the live reaction.
Yeah, I like I said, I mean, I know I don't know. I can't even put the words. I can't even get anything out right now because I don't know what to say. I'm just like thinking about the implications of this, considering all the symbolism that we've had with Trump and a possible plane crash in his future. Even like I've seen so much symbolism with him and the Qatari plane that he's using now. In fact, he didn't even fly back from the G7 or what was he went somewhere the past couple of weeks where he didn't even fly back with his new Qatari jet because he said that Iran was trying to take him out. So he even mentioned it during the press conference, about taking a different plane because he was worried that something's going to happen to him. And he even said, like, if I'm not here anymore, he was really hinting at him not being here anymore. That's Trump himself talking about this. And then there's that story, we talked about before about the original Trump actually being down in a crash. So there's a lot of things I'm thinking about now in my head about what that. And then somebody in the chat mentioned that JD Vance has a home in Cincinnati, which makes sense because JD Vance is grew up not far from there. That's in my neck of the woods, in the Dayton, Ohio. Of course, Dayton's known for flying. So there's really something there with a possible Trump going out in a plane crash, guys. I mean, it's unless they're just paying tribute to possibly the old Trump that already went out in a plane crash, but maybe there's another one in the cards.
Well, I was going to say from a sports lens as well, Cincinnati makes me think of Ken Griffey Jr., right? And I think with the NBA, this is the first time we've ever seen a player play with their son, right? I don't know how many times it's happened in Major League Baseball. I want to say it's been more than once, but it's rare.
Yeah, Barry Bonds and Bobby Bonds played together briefly.
That's right. Yeah, there were a couple, but one of the most
Junior as well, and his father.
Well, that's what I was saying. That's why I brought up like Cincinnati, right?
I missed a bunch of stuff. My bad. I had to refresh the page. I actually have a really good mic, so I'm surprised that it didn't automatically connect to that one. It connected to my the speaker from my computer, the microphone from my computer. So I don't know if I sound different now. I should sound more clear. I hope I do.
Yeah, you sound better. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah, you're good. So no, all I was really bringing up from the sports lens was just the Ken Griffey Jr. piece with the father-son connections, right? With the Cincinnati Reds. But where did he come from before? He was with the Seattle Mariners. And the reason why I even emphasize that is I thought it was interesting, too, that this year they also rolled out on Netflix that documentary about the guy who flew that plane around Washington in the Seattle area. Do you guys remember that? It's blanking me right now, the name of it. Shoot.
The guy who hijacked the plane and just said, I'm flying it, and then he just crashed it because he couldn't land it?
Yep. Yeah, that took place in the Washington, Seattle area.
Yeah.
And I'm just, so anybody in the chat, if you guys know what I'm talking about, if you guys can put the name of the documentary, please do. But yeah, no, it was a story from like 2012, I want to say. It was a long time ago, but it was a disgruntled employee who worked at the airport, and somehow, some way, he was able to learn how to fly a plane online and then hijacks a plane. But anyways, yeah, but it took place in Seattle. So we're talking about these airplane themes and whatnot. So I thought that was connected. But anyways.
I mean, everything could be connected, to be honest. I mean, it's I don't know if someone linked I don't know who linked Decode Numbers Official in the chat. That's definitely
right
not
here.
my channel. It's
That's
definitely
not
not
you?
my.
Okay.
Nah, I don't even have a YouTube channel actually. I should make one, but I just have Instagram and Twitter, and it's the same. It's Decode Numbers _. It's not I don't know who Decode Numbers Official is.
Can you?
I think I'm just thinking maybe Decode Numbers is a very generic name. It's harder to find you when you have a name like that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I made my name off of funny enough off of Paramore. Paramore has a song called Decode, and then Logic sampled it and made Numbers. So I just named it after that. I'm a big music head, so I gotta figure out maybe something. But I like Decode Numbers. I like how it goes off. But I know what you're saying. It's very similar to what the niche is. So I'll probably think of something down the road, but right now, you know, it's not terrible. You know, it plays the part, you know. But I hear you, Rambo. I like the name, the Truth Codes. That's nice. And Balll Don't Lie. That's a good name.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I don't have a name like Cody. I don't have a name like Cody either, so that doesn't help.
Well, Cody, we all have code in it. The Truth Codes, Decode Number, Decoding,
Yeah.
Cody. You know, that's what. No, but I patterned mine off of the Da Vinci Code. I want to get that vibe of the Da Vinci Code, where you're looking for these esoteric patterns to life. So the Da Vinci Code, the Truth Codes. That was kind of the angle I was looking at. But yeah, I mean, we all agreed that this is one of the best decodes we've ever seen.
That means a lot. That really does mean a lot to me because those are one of those games where like if you have a lot, you know, if you like to gamble on games, you like to make money off the rituals, like you wait for those type of days where it's kind of clearer than other days. You know what I mean? Where it's like you see that you're like they have to do this, and you know you just put it out on the line. You know. I try to help people, as you guys do, you know, just try to help people recognize the patterns, recognize what's going on, and some people like to capitalize off of it, you know?
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really amazing to see these things play out like that, especially picking the days like that and seeing those clear things in the future play out like that. And I don't know how long before, I mean, obviously you were looking at this for a long time, so it's amazing to see it play out even better than you would have expected with the scores being 53 and 42.
Yeah, you should put that graphic up on the screen again. We got to see that.
Yeah,
graphic.
if you can reshare that, Josh, I can.
Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, I'm gonna look more into this myself and think more about this whole this thing with the flights, and makes you wonder if there's other flight crashes in history that got paid tribute to.
Yeah, so this was from last year. It was the you know, because again, this is like a, you know, when I emailed Rambo about it last year. I said this team, actually, I emailed Rambo. I said the Mets might actually become 53 and 42, and they actually played the night before in Kansas City. The plane took off from Kansas. I know that's not Kansas City. It took off from Wichita. I was like, oh, maybe the Mets do it. And they actually were losing. I was like, oh, my God, they're going to freaking. Like, are you kidding me? And then the Yankees do it the next day. As funny enough, it's both New York teams that I thought could do it last year. It was only the Yankees. And this year, we have this right here. The Cubs and the Yankees hitting the 53-42 and winning 5-3 and 4-2.
So the Yankees have hit this record 2 years in a row.
They've hit it 2 years in a row. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Wow. We got to look out for this number. We got to keep an eye out for this number. It's probably manifested other areas. I mean, this is a number to look out for.
Yeah, absolutely. This seems like it's going to play a theme. And now that we have the knowledge, next year we can see what happens, you know, what teams do it, you know what I mean? So definitely can. And same thing with 48-19. Remember earlier this year, Rambo, right before that game between the Raptors and the Pistons, I said, Why are the Pistons in Toronto 48-18?
Yeah. You're on that one too. Yeah, you're on that one too.
Yeah. So
yeah, and the same was with the Chicago White Sox when they were underdogs at home, and they became 23-11 for that 23-11 ritual with Michael Jordan's racing company.
Mm-hmm. I think they also
23-11.
hit what was it? They hit the Michael Jordan jersey numbers last year as well. They became like 23 and 45. I don't know if they did that again this year, but yeah, they do that all the time with the White Sox as well, it seems. So there's a lot to look out for. The play numbers, the athletes. I mean, there's so much to look out for, and those are the days that if you like to gamble, those are the days you want to pounce, and maybe if you have a little bit more in the bank, to win a lot more money. And the thing is, like, the Cubs were down 2-0 in this game. The Yankees were down 2-0 in the top of the 8th inning and decided to hit like 3 home runs and become, you know what I mean? It's just like, it was. So what happened was because the Yankees played first, when the Yankees were down 2-0 and they came back, and then when the Reds were up 2-0, I was like, okay, I see what they're doing here. I'm going to just take the Cubs live, plus, it was like plus 300. Just let it ride. And then, as you can see, it worked out. -1.5 also hit, if anybody took those. And I can't believe that it was 5-3 in like the 7th inning or the 6th inning, and they decided to just keep it like that, especially in this one. They just kept it at that. There was so many opportunities for them to score, and it just didn't happen. It was just like, all right, I guess this is what they wanted for people to see. And then if you actually look at the Yankees games from this, if you look at this series, if I pull this up, I'll pull this up. You guys are gonna laugh at what they did with the scores in this series. I'm experiencing a little lag on my side, but actually that was 7-11, so 7-10. I gotta get a new computer. This MacBook is starting to age on me. What I'm seeing versus what you guys are seeing are probably two different things. So the night before they played each other, the night before they hit the record, they won 5-3. So the night before, 2 code, they win 5-3, and the night they win 4-2. So I thought that was pretty interesting.
Huh. I mean, that's crazy.
They hit 5. Yeah. And then the Sunday game was 5-3 as well. So they did 5-3, 4-2, 5-3.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you also got to think about the Knicks, who finished, on 53 wins and then won the championship after 53 years. So,
well, 16 is that tower.
Is tough.
53 is that 16 prime, which is the tower again. And in Spain is looking to win again after 16 years.
Spain equals 23, which is the FIFA World Cup. This is the 23rd FIFA World Cup. So there's a lot for Spain.
Yeah. So the big number here, and the big symbol is I always talk about it's the cycle. The cycle, from my observation, is the single most important symbol. Twin pillars are up there. Twin pillars, the duality, that's up there. The single eye is up there. I always say this: the number one symbol, which is the basis for, call this a matrix, whatever life is the wheel and the cycle. 53 is the chariot. Remember last season when they had the Raceway Classic, the Speedway Classic? It was a chariot-themed baseball game between the Cincinnati Reds and the Atlanta Braves. Remember that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They actually played a baseball game at a speedway, at a racetrack, which is just silly. I mean, it's not, racetracks are not, but they went out of the way because of how important the symbolism is. That's the least.
I remember that one. Yeah. I remember that game. That was the game that the Braves were. I think the Braves were supposed to. They were the favorites, but nobody liked them that game, and they became 21-37 on the road. I think I remember that. I decoded it, which is the 3/22 prime. I think I remember that game. If I'm not mistaken, that's how it went.
But you see what the theme there was. It's Absolutely. The wheel. It's the cycle. Mm-hmm. And who plays for the Cincinnati Reds? They have a player named Steer.
Spencer Steer.
Yeah. And they have a player named Eli, their biggest player is De La Cruz. You have Cruz and Steer. Yeah.
That's fucking insane.
I'll actually shout out Dennis Whitehead Jr. He's the one who pointed that out for me. Dennis Whitehead, if he's listening. He pointed that out of De La Cruz and Steer. He's a Reds fan, so that was part of the symbolism. But think of those two cities. Who's related to those two cities, Cincinnati and Atlanta? Ted Turner is. Ted Turner is associated with Atlanta. Atlanta became his adopted home. But where was Ted Turner born and grew up? In Cincinnati.
You know, that's actually insane that you bring that up, because I was thinking about the TT rituals that have been going on. And actually the last pitcher in the Cubs game, his name was what was it? Something Thornton. It was a T though. It was T Thornton. And I was like, look at that. They got this guy coming into the game to just get one out. And his name is TT, and he was pitching to Sal Stewart, which is SS. And I think about the SS, and I think about how Trump raised the age and everything like that. And I was just like, all right, this guy just needs to get one out. But it's like insane that they bring this guy in, and he has the TT. And now you're bringing up Ted Turner. I was actually looking into Ted Turner today because I'm thinking about how much he's connected to a lot of rituals throughout his life, and what he's and how they're gonna tribute him throughout the rest of this season and in the future.
Remember how I said the wheel in the cycle is the most important symbol? Think of the name Turner.
Turn the wheel.
Turner.
Turning Point USA.
And where is Turning Point USA established? In Chicago. You know why they chose Chicago? Because Chicago is home of the very first Ferris wheel. Think of Ferris Bueller. Where's Ferris Bueller take place? In Chicago.
Chicago, yeah.
Because Chicago is the home. I've talked about it several times. Chicago is the home of the wheel. Chicago is where the very first Ferris wheel was invented by George Washington. That's his name. George Washington Gale Ferris Jr. That's the inventor. And it was, I believe that was in 1933. I think it was the World's Fair, where the very first Ferris wheel was unveiled. And if you look around the world, Ferris wheels are inexplicably important to the world. China is ridiculous with Ferris wheels. There are major Ferris wheels all over China. These things all lose money. Every major city has mostly around the world. The London Eye is one of the most popular Ferris wheels. Paris has a Ferris wheel, and there's this race to build the biggest, and grandest Ferris wheel around the world. Why are Ferris wheels so important? For a while, Las Vegas had briefly the biggest Ferris wheel in the world, but think of Vegas and the roulette wheel. It ties into the tarot card Wheel of Fortune. Vegas went out of its way and built the, at the time, biggest Ferris wheel, but usually in the Middle East is where they do these things like building the highest tower. They just throw money away. They're not really trying to improve the lives of most of humans around the world. You can provide irrigation and water. They want Ferris wheels. And they lose money. Like I said, they lose money. Ferris wheels don't make money. But for some reason, they're of utmost importance. San Antonio, I don't know if they've gone through with this. San Antonio has proposed building the biggest Ferris wheel in the world. I don't know if it's still going to go through. New York City tried to do it, and thank God. Show you these people don't always get away. Assume, they're in power, they can do what they want. No, the one in New York City failed, thank God.
Was that? Where was that? I'm in New York. Where was that one? It
was going to be in Staten Island.
Oh, because no one's going to go to Staten Island. Come on.
See, that's the thing with Ferris wheels. They don't make sense. They have some very deep. This is magic. So
the one in Coney Island is pretty popular.
Yeah, it's popular, but it's not like these. So yeah, you'll have Ferris wheels at carnivals and like places like that. The ones they're building around the world are beyond that. I'm talking about the London Eye and the ones all over China and the one in Dubai. And they use the word eye a lot. Very often the Ferris wheels are called the eye. So yeah, Coney Island is one thing. Yes, and it does have significance. The one they were going to build in New York City was on Staten Island. They had already started, 230 feet. So I don't know if they're going to go through with it. I mean, just for like common sense, just for the sake of common sense, hopefully there are better things the state of Texas, the city of San Antonio can do with all that money than build the world's biggest Ferris wheel. But it means something to them beyond the numerical value, or it's beyond money to them. So this mystery as to, it has something. So this world is a mystery. We're talking about how these numbers quit, the 5-3, the 4-2. Ferris wheels mean something to them, and it is a very central symbol. And Chicago is home of the wheel. Cincinnati had that. They played with the Atlanta Braves last year in the what they call it, the Speedway Classic. Like, is really a racetrack the most practical place to hold a baseball game? No, none of this is practical. But there's some deep meaning. It has something to do with holding this matrix together in the manner they want. The wheel is central. It has some kind of, so all humans will understand it at the deepest levels of their unconscious, but consciously, we don't. Unconsciously, we all do know it somehow does mold this place. But again, like I said, they don't always win. Thank God the one in New York. You can look it up if you want. Look up the and Michael Bloomberg. He was really behind. He was the major driving force behind the one in New York City.
Ferris wheel, Staten Island.
Yep. We call it the New York.
It was gonna be massive.
That's another thing too. They were gonna put it over. So obviously you're from New York. You know, Fresh Kills, the garbage.
Yeah, that's not where you'd want to put it. I mean, unless you clear that out.
Yeah, it was near Fresh Kills. So some of the debris from 9/11 was taken to Staten Island. Some of the debris from the World Trade Center was taken to Staten Island. They were going to build this Ferris wheel over some of the debris from 9/11. This is some dark occult stuff that they're doing.
That is pretty dark. I mean, I think they made a ship out of some of the debris. If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, because people died. There are human remains in there. I mean, some people got cremated. There are human remains there. The suffering, the anxiety that they all went through, that energy is in the remains. When you pick up the debris, there is some human remains, and it still contains the energy of the incident. This Staten Island Ferris wheel they were going to actually build it over some of that debris. This is some dark stuff, really, really dark. Michael Bloomberg was behind.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
Bloomberg wasn't even the mayor during 9/11. It was Giuliani, but it's funny. It's a 38-minute ride. I mean, that is pretty sick. You know, using number 38 for a Ferris wheel. I mean, I don't even think I've ever been on a Ferris wheel for more than 10 minutes, but that's insane. That's definitely insane.
I figured out why they used the Reds in this ritual, because the ice skaters on the plane were from the Soviet Union or from Russia.
Oh, shit.
The Reds.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow. Oh, yeah, there was ice skating. There was like a team, right? Was it a team? I think I see a picture.
It was a figure skating team. It says
right there.
4 coaches killed were all former Soviet and Russian figure skaters. This included married Vingia Shishkikov and Vadim, how do you say those names? But lots of Russian Reds connection. So it seems to me that's probably why, because think about how perfect that is. You have the Washington team and the Reds losing, and the Reds, the team from the Reds, went down with the Washington team. Both those teams lost, right? Yeah. They went down. So, wow. And another thing I noticed just off my numerology stuff, but so I figured out also why this was a perfect date. This was on a Mercury birthday. And how many times have I pointed out that when you have these incidents, these whether it's a car crash or a transportation incidents, it's always seems like it's always gonna be connected with the Mercury counts. And in this case, from the actual plane crash to this July 11th sink was exactly 6 Mercury years. So basically 88 days is a Mercury year, so 88 days times 6. And so that also explains why you had some sort of tribute to this Mercury incident, this transportation incident on this day.
Can I say?
And that's 528 days. Yeah. So, which is the amount,
Donald,
the amount
which is Trump. Trump equals 88 and 528 because again, 88 times 6 is 528. So
that's also Rudy Giuliani's birthday, 528.
Wow.
But I can say real quick why Mercury is considered to rule over the realm of travel and transportation. So the wheel is very connected to Mercury. The reason is because Mercury is the closest planet to the sun and has the shortest path. So it's in perpetual motion, the shortest motion and the fastest orbit, which is a metaphor for a moving wheel. So that's why Mercury is so relevant.
Yeah. And that original crash was on a Wednesday.
Yeah. Okay.
So think about that.
And 528 is actually the is considered the love frequency.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
And notice how the 64 date numerology here. 67 people died aboard both aircraft. There was actually 64 people on flight 5342. And it just so happened to be that there was a 64 date numerology on that day.
Let me bring that up.
Right, and that's the magic square of Mercury is 8 by 8. The magic square of Mercury has 64 squares. If you look up magic square of Mercury, if you just want to clarify that, look it up if you want. That's another Mercury.
Magic square of Mercury?
Of Mercury, yeah.
Oh, my computer is very laggy right now. Hold on.
Oh, yeah, you can see 8 by 8.
I got it up on mine because my screen's up now, but
okay.
Yeah, they can see it on mine. It's an 8 by 8 magic square which sums to 64 total. And wait a minute, was there not a recently Bobby Simpson had pointed out, or Casey Jones Astrology, as he's also known, he had pointed out something with the 260 because 260. I had just did a decode about that. Now I can't remember. I'm wondering if it was connected with July 11th now. No, I think it was before that, but what was it? I think I may even showed it on our stream last week. Did I? Yeah, I think I did. What was that about? I'll have to go back and look, but I just know that there was another Mercury connection with the Mercury magic square also having a 260 connection. It was 260 Mercury years from, it was Ronaldo. Okay, well so Ronaldo, he lost a few days before this, right? He got knocked out of the World Cup. He was named after Ronald Reagan. Now, this crash happened at Ronald Reagan, this collision. And Ronaldo was named after this president, Ronald Reagan, and Ronaldo went down. Okay, so I'm putting the pieces together now. So look at it connects to Ronald Reagan, right? The airport, but it also connects to JFK because was the flight heading? I just read something about JFK here.
It was heading from Wichita, Kansas.
The flight is a CR7. Oh my goodness. CRJ7. Wow. And so that's CR7. That's I know it's got the J in there, but it does have the CR7 right in the but where is the it mentions something in here about JFK, but the point is the collision was captured by a webcam at JFK Kennedy Center. Okay, so
wow.
When Ronaldo got taken out of the World Cup a few days before this, he was in Dallas where JFK was taken out in a vehicle again, Mercury. So what was I going to say? That was 260 Mercury years exactly after the JFK incident. The Ronaldo going down was exactly a Mercury count. And then again, they were in Dallas where this happened. And actually Spain just beat France in Dallas. And that kind of brings back the fact that while you guys were talking, I was looking at what things in my gematria calculator have a 5342? And look, the only thing I have in my calculator that equals 5342 is the coach for Spain or for France.
Wow.
And they just lost in Dallas too. So and think about how Dallas plays at Airlines Center, right? The Mavericks, don't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They play
So
at
I
the
don't know how
American Airlines Arena.
Yeah, something like that. I know. Yeah, it's American Airlines Arena. Yeah, that's what it is. But yeah, I mean, I don't know how this Didier Deschamps would tie into that, but he does have gematria of 5342.
Well, and there's your DD die kind of connection we've talked about.
Right. The die was the bitter orange. And that's another reason my decode was so close, but yet so far away, because I was all over the Netherlands and the orange. But guess who produces the most bitter oranges in the world? Spain. So I was all over this bitter orange. I had Spain and Netherlands originally, and now you have Spain is there, but they produce the most bitter oranges. So, but yeah, the DD, the die, the 4-4. But yeah, that's all I got right now. But I just wanted to kind of connect some of those pieces with Reagan and Ronaldo and the Mercury. I'm sure I'll find more, but I'll let one of the other guys go.
Yeah, so this is about the wheel, the cycle, and transportation, and the chariot. So the chariot sums to 53, which I've talked about extensively. The chariot, and yeah, that's in the base cipher, so that's an ordinal. Yeah, the chariot, but also in French, the French Marseille tarot deck, it's le chariot. So just change the to le chariot, as it is in French, is also 53. Also look up
that 163 is insane though. Did you see that?
Where?
But the chariot is 163. The crash was 1 year and 163 days.
Right.
Like airline disasters 163. Yeah, that's insane.
Write that one down. Yeah. Big 163. Okay.
38th prime, right?
That's that's 38 prime, I think. Yeah. Wow.
You were just pointing out the 38, Josh.
Yeah, 38-minute ride on that, which is I think is and the fact that they wanted to make it out of the World Trade Center steel is insane. That's insane.
Yeah, this is all about the chariot and the major chariot. So 53. So the big 53 is, I mean, this is the reason that, I mean, I saw this when I was a little kid. I'm 57, so I was a little kid when this came out. Herbie, the Disney Volkswagen. If you look up Herbie, Volkswagen, Disney, I always knew that Herbie had number 53, and I never knew why until, now I'm older and I've learned the gematria. That is why Herbie is numbered 53. It's the chariot. It's the gematria. Wow. And you see that I saw one incident. Yeah, that's why Herbie.
I remember this.
Yeah, I've done several decodes on this. 53 came up with the Knicks winning the NBA title after hadn't won it in 53 years. The San Antonio Spurs were established the year the Knicks last won the NBA championship. So the San Antonio Spurs were 53 years old. The Knicks had 53 regular season wins. They're a ton more. Their best player, Jalen Brunson, his father, who's a coach for the Knicks. The day they clinched, June 13th, was the very last day that he was 53 years old. He turned 54 on June 14th. The Knicks had to win. That was the last chance for the Knicks to win, to clinch, while Rick Brunson was 53 years old. But also, it's a Volkswagen Beetle, VW. That's their logo. Whose initials are those? Victor Wembanyama. So, yeah, so I talked about this pretty extensively. And also, Chipotle did a promotional collaboration with the NBA where Chipotle gave away 53,000 burritos.
Yeah.
Shout out to Cornell, patron, for telling me about that one. And why did they pick? They even said why. They said because of the Knicks having not won in 53 years, and the San Antonio Spurs being 53 years old. But VW, this is it. The chariot, VW is Victor Wembanyama. Now, what kind of car is the VW? It's a Beetle. When you think of Beatles, what do you think? You think of the Beatles band. And where are they from? They're from Liverpool, England, which is on the 53rd parallel. You can't make it up.
And Rambo, with that VW, you and I didn't get a chance to talk really any deeper about it, but I did forward it to you when I saw it posted on TMZ. We had that VW death just days after the last time we talked about VW on our show.
Yeah, 53rd.
I believe it was like one of the main members of the Village People, I think it was. Cody, do you remember this? We were talking about the VW. I don't know if you heard about that death. It's blanking on the name. Let me see.
I slightly remember, but I don't remember.
Victor Willis? Yeah, Victor Willis on June 30th.
Oh, yeah. Victor Willis. And yeah, that's interesting because England has a player, their star player right now, who kind of goes with my whole William of Orange code. Jude, the Beatles, they're singing the Beatles song for him. Jude Victor, his name is Jude Victor William. Like he fits my code perfectly with the William stuff. His name is literally Victor William. So VW.
Yeah, pull up Victor Willis really quick. This was June 30th.
Victor Willis. Yeah, so he died June 30th. That's Cody Rhodes' birthday. His middle name is Edward. So yeah, he died in. I guess he was born in Dallas.
I didn't mean to, get us off a different path, but I thought it was fitting with the VW that Rambo brought up because we did talk about the VW and the Volkswagen and everything with this, and then all of a sudden, I want to say, literally the next week, we had the death of Victor Willis.
Well, also when I think Willis Tower.
In Chicago, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and Willis Reed, right? Wasn't he a big
Willis
part
Reed.
of the Knicks?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so with the William theme, with the William theme, I think a player to look out for. There is a Williams on Spain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the coach of Spain has William's birthday, as in Prince William's birthday. That's something I missed this whole time too, is that the coach has his, I'm not sure how many years. 21 years. I think they were born. I think the coach, De La Fuente, I think he's born 21 years before Prince William. And Spain hosted, so here's the big clue also. Spain hosted the World Cup the year that William was born. And Italy won that World Cup, but Spain hosted it. It's called España 82. And the 82 has been big just in general. The big eclipse next year is on 8/2. And, I think that could be a possible time to look for William taking over actually around that eclipse. But just in general, I think that's interesting how Spain actually connects to William. I don't know how much more they would connect to him, but they definitely have this Williams player who's pretty good. And then they have the coach who's connected, and then also the hosting. And don't forget, his wife, Catherine, was also born in 1982. So both of them have that connection with the 82. And yeah.
Yeah, Chariots of Fire is 226 and 82. That's a big 82 I keep bringing up. E.T. was brought out in the year 82. And what is the most iconic image of E.T.? It's the bicycle. When E.T. takes off, he makes the bicycles levitate, and there's that iconic poster of the bicycle, E.T. in that milk crate. There's that wheel and the bicycle. 82 is significant for that too, at a time when, the United States government, the authority, has said that the conspiracy theorists were right all along, that yes, they do have extraterrestrial, intelligent, non-human life in their possession.
Well, look how the symbol for 1982 World Cup was a flying ball, flying saucer. You see how it's flying there?
It doesn't look like a chariot of fire. That could look like jet propulsion, or the fire coming from behind an engine.
Yeah.
The red and the yellow, that's like fire. That is like a...
That's Spain's colors. Wait,
Yeah.
that's the Spain. Well, yeah, of course. That's because it took place in Spain. I forgot that for a second. I was like, wait, that's Spain's colors. But yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, that's crazy because Rambo, that's like the circle too, with the ball being the circle, the cycle, and then the chariot and the fire. So guess that makes sense.
The pentagons on the ball. Do they do that nowadays? Do they still have those the pentagon on the soccer balls?
I mean, they're still... So yeah, they're different now. Like the ball for the World Cup it's like highly scientifically designed. The one now
they got magnets in there now.
No, but they've got a chip in there. They admit
Yeah.
that they have a chip. So
Yeah.
who knows what they're doing with that chip, because that chip doesn't work. I actually have a decode on the World Cup and the latest things in the World Cup, which kind of segue from this, where I can kind of talk about some of the things that happened. So one of the things that happened was there's a rule in football, soccer. If the ball comes in contact with a foreign object that, it shouldn't belong on the field, or a player, the play has to stop, regardless of what happens after that. The play has to stop. You have what's called a drop ball, where you drop the ball, but it's almost like the equivalent in basketball where you throw the ball up. That's the rule. Well, there's a hazard now that exists that never did before, because now we have technology and we have a sky cam, which is held together by cables. When England played Norway, the ball hit the sky cam. The whole point of having technology is there's a chip in the ball. The chip is supposed to detect if there was contact with the ball, and it's pretty clear to most people the trajectory of the ball changed. It hit the sky cam, and then it changed its trajectory. The goalkeeper kicked it. It fell to an England player. He created a scoring opportunity for Jude Bellingham, and he scored the second goal for England.
Mm-hmm.
The Norway players were surrounding the referee saying, we clearly saw this thing hit the sky cam. We know the rules. Once it hits a foreign object, the game should stop, and it's a drop ball. But we know it. In this community, we know it. These are rigged. My initial prediction was England-Spain, and I went to the whole revenge theme. But I can go into my decode. This actually ties into that. Of just some of the latest events, for those who may not follow, England just defeated... Spain just defeated France to make it to the final. So one final place has been decided. Tomorrow, the other final place will be decided in the game between Argentina and England. So do you have my screen up?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. So this is a video, and it's to show you when I made this video. I made this video on December 1st of 2025. So back on December 1st, 2025, I talked about the hand of God, which is a reference to literally the most iconic goal in World Cup history, which was scored with the hand. One of the soccer GOATs is Diego Maradona of Argentina, who since passed away. He's one of the soccer GOATs, the greatest of all time. And he scored a goal with his hand in 1986 against England. There was England versus Argentina, one of the most memorable games in the history of soccer. Which back in December 1st, I said this is a matchup to watch. I thought I said it in my decode, but I listened to it again. But my implication there was that England will meet Argentina again. And I circled it. If you go to patreon.com/thetruthcodes, it's there. December 1st is when I uploaded it. And I said for the upcoming World Cup, look for this matchup. England versus Argentina. I have a few short clips from that video. Only a minute long worth of highlights from the video, just to give it a listen.
Two Brazil fans who wore jerseys 9 and 11 at the November 15th, 2025 exhibition game in London between Brazil and Senegal. This was super obvious, but I also took note of a ritual jersey number sequence that occurred just before that. Brazil shirt 10, Senegal shirt 10:30, 10:30. And in the world of soccer football, 10:30 is most significant for one phenomenon only: the birthday of a GOAT. Greatest of all time, Diego Maradona. 10:30 must be referring to him because the 2026 World Cup returns to the location and the stadium in which he established himself as a GOAT, Mexico City, and the Azteca Stadium. And his Hand of God goal is literally the most iconic, debated, and celebrated, and most vivid goal in the history of the game of football.
Yeah, so that's just a short clip. That was what I focused on. The video was 18 minutes long, but it's relevant now because, lo and behold, we have the World Cup semifinal, and it's England versus Argentina, which I did highlight. And before that, talk about that. I just talk about France losing to Spain today in the first semifinal, and I thought it was ill-fated for France. This was ill-fated. This is the fact that they wore a special commemorative uniform. It's a pistachio green to commemorate the Statue of Liberty, which is a gift from France to the United States, which is, you can debate whether the Statue of Liberty is technically in New York City water space or if it's in New Jersey water space. So it's kind of a New York, New Jersey figure, just like the venue of the final. For sponsorship reasons, they don't call it MetLife because MetLife not an official World Cup sponsor. They call it New York, New Jersey Stadium. But so the Statue of Liberty does fit with the location of the final. But they wore these uniforms to commemorate the Statue of Liberty, which I thought was ill-fated because in Brazil, on December 15th, 2025, this happened. A replica of the Statue of Liberty toppled.
I remember that. That was right before the Knicks played the Spurs in the
NBA Cup. Yeah. Which,
it's funny that you mentioned also that you said that you don't, is the Statue of Liberty in New York or New Jersey, and then you mentioned the stadium. Obviously that goes along with the fact that the game is being played in the 201 area code. So two states into one. Yeah.
Yep. So this was because this incident here, I thought that it doesn't look good for France. This was not a good. I mean, if France hadn't worn this uniform, France, by far, even though they lost, talent-wise, they're undisputedly the best team in the world, the best national team. They still have more talent than Spain, but it doesn't work that way. You don't just put together an all-star team and it wins. It's only one game. I mean, if they played, you could say a 7-game series, hypothetically, France would win. On one game, France is undeniably the best talent of any team in the world, but it's one game. But when they decided to commemorate the Statue of Liberty, I said, it just does. That's just not a good omen. It doesn't. It's not a good look for. But because this happened in Brazil, and Brazil has been in the middle of so many rituals, they were eliminated by Norway. But what is interesting in Brazil is the symbolism. In the background, there's McDonald's. McDonald's, the red and yellow. We're talking about that. Those are sun colors, and the McDonald's arch is the royal arch, the royal arch of the sun. That's a Freemason term. That's the arch of the sun from the spring equinox to its apex at the summer solstice to the autumnal equinox. The McDonald's originally just had one arch, the golden arch, iconic. And that was the arch of the sun. And it's a sun symbol. And that's actually what this Statue of Liberty is holding, a torch. It's a light bearer. In Latin, lux is light, and fer means to carry. Lucifer means light bearer, light carrier. It refers to the sun. So this is very heavy sun symbolism. This is a sunset. This is a sunrise. That's the symbolism here. This is a sunset, the light bearer. This is the fall of the light bearer. This is the fall of Lucifer. The Statue of Liberty is a light bearer, literally a light bearer. That's what Lucifer means. And look at what's in the background. It's the sunrise. This is about the cycle. It's about the sun cycle I was talking about. Sunset, sunrise, and then it sets again, and you go through the cycle. But this is just not, when you see this, this is not the uniform you want to be wearing. But it ties into Diana because, and we talk about the chariot theme, and we talk about the member of the village people, how his birthday was 7/1. So that is actually Diana's birthday. So Diana is a big part of this because Diana, Princess of Wales, and there are credible reports I mean, mainstream media even published letters by Diana in her handwriting in the mainstream media. They were put out to the public that she felt that the royal family were plotting to kill her. It's not conspiracy theory. This is in her handwriting. This is proven. And she suspected that they would plan like a plane crash or a helicopter crash. That's she said that ahead of time. And it ended up being a car crash. And there are witnesses, credible witnesses, who say after the crash, she was seen sitting upright and talking. But so who knows what happened in that tunnel? And the ambulance did not go straight to the hospital, which was a 5-minute ride to the hospital. There was a inexplicable delay in the tunnel, but not so. Those are the circumstances. Nonetheless, her reported death is August 31st, 1997. But there's that 7/1, her birthday, 7/1. We used to have that Village People member. The VW is his birthday is 7/1. So VW, this is the chariot. Volkswagen, which is a sponsor of several teams here at the World Cup. Volkswagen. Oh, the other one is Mercedes-Benz. What kind of car was she in? She was in a Mercedes-Benz, well known. Well, where is England playing against Argentina tomorrow? It's called the Atlanta Stadium. Remember why? Because if a stadium has a sponsor name, which is not a World Cup sponsor, they take that sponsor name off the stadium temporarily for the World Cup. Mercedes-Benz is not a 2026 FIFA World Cup sponsor, so they take the Mercedes-Benz name, which that is the name of the stadium. It's Mercedes-Benz Stadium, Atlanta Stadium. That is where England will play, at Mercedes-Benz, and that is significant considering that Diana, she died in a Mercedes-Benz. And after shout out John, patron John, for pointing this out, the finals on July 19th in not MetLife, but New York, New Jersey Stadium. That's when the final is. Well, what John did, he looked at the date, 31st August 1997, of Diana's her death, her car crash in Paris, France. And it has numerology 8 plus 31 plus 19 plus 97 of 155. Then he looked at the date duration from Diana's car crash, August 31st, 1997, again in a Mercedes-Benz. August 31st, 1997, to the day of the final, World Cup final, July 19th, 2026. It is 10,550 days, which in numerology is 155. That's the numerology of her car crash date, 155. And that's the duration date from her car crash date to the final. So this tells you that this appears to be coded into the final. Again, shout out to John. To me, that tells you if Diana is coded into the final, I think England's going to be in the final then, because it's
absolutely.
And what is her nickname? Her nickname is the short form of Diana is Di. She's Lady Di. They call her Di. And the official anthem, there are several anthems. One of the official anthems for the World Cup is Die Die. Well, Die Die, it's D-A-I, D-A-I. It could be Di, like short for Diana, D-I. It could be D-I, D-I, Die Die. You're just talking about the Didier Deschamps, the DD.
Well, and on top of that, really quick, I'll just mention, I think we talked about this last week, but OG Anunoby,
yeah,
he's British, and he went to Indiana.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And Rambo, great minds think alike, because what's funny is I was watching the Illusions live stream like yesterday or 2 days ago. I did this exact same thing you just did here with the 155 and then the date duration. I literally posted that in the comments of this exact same thing you just showed. And I was looking at that exact same correlation between her and because I was trying to see if there was a correlation between Diana, because it kind of goes with all my Williams stuff, right? So, yeah.
Yeah, well, I shout out John. He's the one who came up with this. One of my patrons, he came up with it. And the funny thing is, when he came up with this, I'm not just saying this. When he came up with, the thought in my head was, this looks like the type of thing KODI comes up with. I swear that's what the thought in my head. It looked like a KODI type thing. It did. It looked like this looks like a KODI type thing, you know? Some people in their decoding, they have their style, you know, of decoding and stuff. So when he said this, I said, this looks like something KODI would come up with. But but this shows you that Diana is coded in to this.
And just while we're here, Rambo, this game yesterday, Spain versus France, since she died in France, her middle name is Francis.
Oh yeah. Okay.
The goal scorer, the first goal scorer for Spain, was born on the Queen's birthday in 1997. So that means he was born the same year as this crash on the Queen's birthday, Queen Elizabeth, and the date duration between that day, Queen Elizabeth's birthday, his birth. I can't remember the guy's name. Orth. He's got a weird name.
It's a Basque name. I think Orazabal. Orizabal. He's Basque. He's from Basque country.
Okay.
I was just looking him up, so I know it's a tough name to remember.
I just can't pronounce it really, so I was like, I know you know who I'm talking about, though, right? So
yeah, I was just looking at him, so he should be in my. There he is. You see my screen?
Yep.
There he is. Yeah, Mikel Oyarzabal.
Yeah, Yazbal.
Yeah, April 20th.
Yeah, and so
Oyarzabal. Yeah.
So the date between his birth and the car crash is 132 days. And what's the gematria of Princess Diana? And ordinal is 132. So he's born 132 days before on the Queen's birthday, which is the gematria of Princess Diana. So I thought that was a lot of 1997s coming up because that year is, it seems to be always connected to her, actually. Whenever I look into the year 1997, I always find something with her.
Yeah, so he's also from Basque country. Basque country is where they have the running of the bulls. And this year it is very, with the whole Bulls Jordan connection. This year's running of the bulls was really eventful. Normally there aren't really that many injuries. I don't know what went wrong in 2026. There were a whole bunch of tramplings and injuries and gorings. It's in Pamplona. And Williams, who's also from, so his parents were, they emigrated from Ghana to the Basque country, Nico Williams. So he's the William to look out for. A lot of cancers. I've noticed cancers are everywhere. Cancers like Erling Haaland, cancer. Jude Bellingham, cancer. This is really, the World Cup is during cancer. The finals in cancer. Cancer is the Chariot. The tarot card that represents the zodiac sign of Cancer is the Chariot. So there's a heavy, heavy Cancer energy. Diana's a Cancer. Yeah, Nico Williams. He scored the winner in the European Championship win for Spain. That's every 4 years as well. 2 years ago for Spain over England, which is along the lines of my revenge theme. I can bring that up. We'll see what happens if England gets to the final. That was my original final. And I did a whole decode on England versus Spain and the revenge theme of Spain getting revenge. England getting revenge over Spain because they've been in 3 consecutive finals in men's and women's soccer. I thought it's almost too obvious. I hesitated because it seemed too obvious. You have the Women's European Championship and the Women's World Cup. You have the Men's European Championship and the Men's World Cup. Those are the European Championship is the second most prestigious international competition. And that's no disrespect to all the other regions in the world. Europe is where the best players play. That's where all the money is in football. It's the second most prestigious international tournament. It's the European Championship, which is every 4 years. The Women's European Championship and the Women's World Cup, the finals were England versus Spain. The last Men's European Championship, the final was England versus Spain. It almost seemed too obvious. So the only thing we're left with now.
It's like the Olympics with the U.S. hockey team. The U.S. women's played the Canadians, and then the next day was the men's playing the Canadian, the U.S. men's. So it's
funny you say that, but by the same score, 2-1.
2-1. Yeah.
It is funny you say that because his birthday. Funny you mentioned that. His birthday.
127.
12th July.
Yeah.
Is also the birthday of another GOAT, the GOAT of female hockey. Since you mentioned it, Hillary Knight, July 12th. It's funny you mentioned it. It fits right in.
That is insane.
Hillary Atwood Knight is an American ice hockey player who's a forward for Detroit in the women's professional hockey. She's also captain of the United States women's hockey team, widely regarded as one of the greatest players in women's hockey history. And again, I talked about the symbolism of the Chariot. The Chariot tarot card represents Cancer. She's a Cancer. And the Chariot is a knight. It's a knight that's, the charioteer. So she fits right into the symbolism. I talked about her, which is racist and Michael Jordan as well, because this is the reflection of Michael Jordan's birthday, which is the 17th of it's February 17th, 217. The reflection, February 17. That's Michael Jordan. So yeah, I talked about that in. Yeah, so it's appropriate that you bring up the hockey team. So I thought it's almost too obvious. Are you really? Can we? There's only one thing left to
And
complete.
the only counter to that is the fact that there was that picture that has gone around a lot with Yamal as a baby with Messi, which is like, you know, it's like what side are they gonna go with? Because apparently they haven't met each other at all since that day, from what I've been reading. They don't.
Yeah,
they joined Barcelona at different times and all that stuff. So it's like, is that what they want to go with, or do they really want to go with if people who appreciate and know about history and know about the lore of both of these teams and of both of these countries? It makes more sense that it's the English versus the Spanish. That's what I think it's going to be.
Well,
I think it could go either way. Yeah, go ahead.
I'm really sorry, Rambo. I'm just really looking at the Falklands Islands because you had the Falklands War between Argentina and England, but then if you actually read into those islands, it was originally owned by France and Spain took it. So you had France and Spain connected with those islands, their history, and then you had England and Argentina, of course. So all four teams were connected with those islands. And now Spain just won, and they were the ones that took over those islands from France. So it's kind of a question of how does that connect with who's going to face each other in the final and how that's going to play out. But yeah, I'll go over something later too that I found in the July 11th game between Spain and the July 10th. It was one day before that. Oh no, was it? Yeah, it was July 10th. But they brought out this woman, Tate McRae.
Yeah, I've talked about her. I've talked to her in Decodes here.
Yeah, so Rambo, she was used specifically because of, and I don't know if you've seen my decode yet on this, but just wait till you see how her date duration lines up with the goal scorer of that game and the winner and the championship from Spain from 2010. And yeah, I'll talk about that later, but it kind of fits with what we're talking about. But I'll let you keep going with your thing.
Yeah, but to see where Nico Williams was born in Pamplona. Pamplona is where you have the running of the bulls. And this year, I went nuts this year. But that's where he's from. That's around the world. When you think of Pamplona, that's what you think of. It's the running of the bull. I don't know if they'll mention it here. Middle Ages. No, but anyway, that's what you think of Pamplona, Basque Country. That's where he was born and grew up. But the Williams thing. But yeah, so this is the 71 Diana, and they are playing at Mercedes-Benz Arena. So so there's so many ways they could go with this, but the Mercedes-Benz thing is, and so Diana seems to be part of this, and how it ties in with the 155 from the date of her the crash to the final and the fall. I've been talking about the fall symbolism. This is about the fall.
And Rambo, to that point, if you wouldn't mind scrolling, and I'm so sorry to interrupt.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
But you were talking about the fall, and it makes me think of right now what you were pointing out with Mbappe next to the Statue of Liberty, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, the game was in Dallas, but let's not forget about the commercial, Rip the Script.
Yeah.
We were talking about Mbappe and the 10-10s. Well, there's a scene where he runs onto that news set, right? And what happens? He knocks over those two pillars.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So
yeah. So I feel like there's some symbolism there because now he ends up falling to the pillars that are in the Spain flag. You know.
Yeah, that's a good observation. Yeah. So that shows you how the fall seems to have been coded into France, especially with this uniform and especially with this. The date that this happened was December 15th, 2025. December 15th is the birthday of Gustave Eiffel, who was an engineer after whom the Eiffel Tower is named. It's pronounced Eiffel. He was an engineer with the Eiffel Tower, and he was an engineer with the Statue of Liberty as well, Gustave Eiffel. I'll look at him. Gustav FL. See, this was his birthday, December 15th. Well, that's when the statue came down in 2025 in Brazil. It came down on December 15th on his birthday. And shout out to BPM as well, one of my patrons, brilliant contributor. He says that Napoleon was buried. Emperor Napoleon of France's burial day is December 15th as well. And here it says, you can see, he is best known for the Eiffel Tower, designed by his company and built for the 89 Universal Exposition in Paris, and his contribution to building the Statue of Liberty. So he is connected to the Statue of Liberty. His birthday is December 15th. And this came down on December 15th in Brazil. Not a good look it was in the cards first. Despite the fact they have the best talent, the symbolism wasn't good, especially have the red and yellow in the background. This is kind of a hindsight 2020 thing, but not my Argentina England thing. That's not hindsight 2020. I highlighted that in December. This is hindsight. I admit that. But it's a sunset, the fall of Lucifer. The sun is Lucifer, the light bearer. The sun is the light bearer. And this is the Spain flag, red and yellow with the twin pillars. And the Argentina flag has a sun. This is why I think there's a lot of coding for Argentina, especially the Messi Yamal thing. That's the biggest one. It's the goat and the kid. That's a tough one to get around. Like, it looks like, how can that not happen? But with all the sun symbol, and there's a lot of false symbolism. A lot of false symbol. A lot of the woman in Brazil being thrown off the bridge, which is obviously a ritual because nothing about that incident made any sense whatsoever. It makes less sense than these giant Ferris wheels. But it's a sunset ritual, and I can show you how there's another major. I've been talking about these sunset rituals. This is the Argentine flag, which is a 32-ray sun, just the same logo or emblem they have for the Jesuit order. And look at their when it was adopted. On February 27th, that's 227. 22 divided by 7, that's pi, the circle, the cycle. Pi measures the cycle. Pi is 22 divided by 7. February 27 is a pi date. And it has a sun symbol. That's about the symbolism of the sun cycle. This is the most central symbolism. But during the sun cycle, it sets. There's an awful lot of sunset symbolism, which I don't think bodes well for Argentina. Here's another sunset symbol, which happened shortly after the World Cup ended. So South Africa exceeded expectations at the World Cup. They were not expected to leave the group stage round, but they made it to the second round. And they played above and beyond. Well, they exceeded expectations, South Africa. South Africa returned home after being eliminated from the World Cup in the second round. They were eliminated by Canada. Shortly after South Africa returned from the World Cup, one of their players in the prime of his life, who was 25 years old, suddenly dies. A 25-year-old who just played in the World Cup of soccer in the prime of his life. He's a midfielder, just dies. And initially, that's what they said. There's no explanation given as to what caused his death. That's literally what they said. And now there's speculation that it was a suicide, supposedly. I had talked about this team in some of my decodes where I've been talking about the sunset and the fall. First of all, look at the number he wears for South 23. Africa. He wore 23 for South Africa. I've been banging on about the Michael Jordan team with the 23rd World Cup. And I was most validated where this clinched the whole thing is when they had every World Cup team walk out to Sirius by the Alan Parsons Project, because that's the walkout music. Yeah, the walkout. That song is now associated with Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls. I never thought it would be validated to that degree. That's the walkout music for every team at every game of the World Cup. And at the final, I guess that'll be the grand finale. They're going to walk out to that Chicago Bulls theme. So it has been about Michael Jordan. Yeah, he wears number 23. But the team that he plays for in South Africa is called, I've talked about this, the Mamelodi Sundowns.
The Sundowns.
Is there any doubt
Sky is
that
the
there
limit.
is? Yeah, there is simply no doubt that we are talking about sunset. And again, the sun is Lucifer. Lucifer means light bearer, light carrier. The sun sets in the autumn. The sun sets at dawn. I talked about the George Floyd. That was a sunset ritual because they said the duration time for his death was 8:46. But anybody who watched the tape knows that it was not 8:46. They just came up with that number because the sun set in Minneapolis, Minnesota at 8:46 p.m. on that day. It was a sunset ritual based on the legend of Osiris.
And they actually used that number again when that very big school shooting happened in August of last year. There was a report, and the doctors, the people at the hospital said they got the call at 8:46 a.m. that there was a massive shooting at that school.
Was that the one in Minneapolis?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the one in Minneapolis. Yeah, I remember. I
Yeah.
put that in my decode. Yeah, that was the one in Minneapolis.
The doctor
guy who
like
had
8:46 a.m.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he had the orange hair like the Joker. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I actually put that in my decode. But here's the thing. So Mamelodi Sundowns, which is every continent has its Champions League. The European Champions League obviously have the best money, all the best players from around the world. That's the best. That's the Super Bowl of soccer. But every continent has its Champions League. They're actually the African Champions League, winners of the African Champions League. And when you win these things, very often there's a price to be paid, besides just hard work and dedication. And the Mamelodi Sundowns, their nickname, because of the uniform they wear, their uniform is yellow shirts, blue shorts, and white socks, which is the iconic Brazil uniform. Their nickname is the Brazilians. Here we go again with Brazil. That's where the statue went down. So I don't know what it is with Brazil. Brazil is central to this ritual location. That's where they threw the lady off the bridge. Literally threw off a bridge. She didn't say, "Oh, how come I'm not attached to anything?" No, like that ridiculous ritual.
Oliver Tree.
Oliver Tree. That's a good one too. Wearing the Brazil jersey. Yeah, Brazil is in the middle of this. Brazil has the Christ the Redeemer statue.
Yeah, that basketball player too. I forgot his name, but he died as well right before the playoffs. I forgot his name though, but he was a pretty big connection between why the Hornets didn't beat the Magic that game. So I think his name is Oscar Schmidt. So
okay.
he died right before the playoffs. He was a Hall of Famer who played for Brazil. I think he played against Jordan and that Dream Team, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong though, but yeah. So Brazil's been huge this year.
Yeah, it's in the middle of, and then a shout out to one of my patrons, Charlie. He pointed out that an influencer from Brazil fell off a balcony. Let me look that one up. Like, shout out to Charlie. I can't keep track of these things. Everyone has their eyes on it. Brazilian influencer.
Rambo, wasn't there a game? What was the whole DeMar Hamlin kneeling thing? Did that take place in Brazil or was that in the U.S.? I'm trying to remember.
DeMar Hamlin? What is that?
Wasn't there a football game that took place in Brazil not too long ago?
Oh yeah, so that was the very first ever NFL game to be played in Brazil. That was the season opener. That was between the Green Bay Packers and the Philadelphia Eagles in Sao Paulo, where they have a temple of, they literally have a temple of Solomon. Brazil is like the center of everything. So
that's right. Yeah. Okay. I asked for different reasons. I don't want to get off topic here.
And of course, the Green Bay Packers have that green and yellow color we're seeing. So this is what happened. Shout out to Charlie, one of my patrons. This is recent. I don't know where the date is on this. July 11th. So yes, it's a recent thing. Look at this. Brazilian influencer falls from 27th floor of Dubai skyscraper. So here's another falling. I tell you, the sunset, the fallen angels. We're talking about the incident last year in Pittsburgh. Kavan Markwood falling at the home of the Pittsburgh Pirates onto the warning track. And again, the Chicago Cubs. Funny how Chicago's there again. Why is Chicago in the middle of all of this? So Chicago Cubs were the team visiting the Pittsburgh Pirates at that time. This is fallen angels. This comes at a time, 2026, 226 Chariots of Fire, in unprecedented fashion, and everybody's going to have to, in their way, whether you're mainstream, and the mainstream is having the hardest time with this, but also if you're more of a, for a lack of a better term, truth community. Everybody has their strong feelings about this subject. They have to come to grips with this. The authority, so one of the world authorities, government of the United States, has said craft and beings from planets other than Earth exist, and they have the proof of their existence. Granted, they haven't shown that to the public. Multiple whistleblowers have been saying that over the years, but this changes a lot of things, and it does tie in to these themes that we're seeing of the fallen angels, because crashed UFOs are fallen angels as well. So Roswell is the most famous one. Well, guess who's from Roswell? Born in Roswell is John Denver, whose most famous song is Country Roads Take Me Home, which has become a theme at this World Cup. Fans are singing, there's several songs that have become, music is a big, very important element to decode. Country Roads Take Me Home, the most famous song by John Denver, who was born in Roswell, which is known for only one thing. That's where John Denver was born. When Kevon Markwood fell at the stadium in Pittsburgh on the warning track, it had Country Roads Take Me Home from John Denver's lyrics. Right in the background, it was an ad for tourism to West Virginia. That tells you what the symbolism is in part about. Fallen angels, beings from other locations which came to Earth. The authority has said it, and it is turning everything on its head, and people will deal with that however they wish. It remains to be seen what the government does as far as revealing the concrete proof. But people have been saying for a long time that the United States government actually has in captivity, and they're abusing these beings. They say they have them in captivity and they're abusing them, beings from other planets, and they have their craft. And they, nonetheless, this is what fallen angels is related to. And I had said 2026 will be a big year because of 226 and Chariots of Fire, which what it refers to. And this is the year in which the United States government officially has come out and said, these things exist. We have proof. We actually have them in our possession. So yeah, here's another fallen angels ritual. Shout out to Charlie, a Brazilian again, an influencer in Dubai. And here we have Mamelodi Sundowns, who plays for a team called the Brazilians, and he dies shortly after the World Cup wearing number 23. And that's another thing too. Brazil are the first national team to wear Air Jordan brand. So there's your 23 and Jordan.
This guy was definitely sacrificed. And his last name Adams. I mean, you got to remember, his last name being Adams. Wasn't this the 200th anniversary of John Quincy Adams' death on July 4th? Or am I bugging? Hold on. Let me just make sure I'm not John Quincy Adams. John Adams. The second president. Yep. John Adams was the second president, and he died on July 4th, 1826. So exactly 200 years ago. And then Adams on South Africa dies.
Yeah, July 4th. Yeah. 1826.
And there's the 1030.
All right, there. Yeah, I didn't even know it. Oh, so that great contribution. It's amazing how it all fits in. That's amazing. 1030. Wow, yeah. Great contribution.
So next year will be 201.
Wow, I got to write this. Wow, that's amazing. I didn't even see that.
There you go.
Observation. I'm trying that October 30th, John Adams. So yeah, it's amazing how it all fits in. Yeah.
So this Adams player died on John Quincy Adams' death date or something like that.
John Quincy Adams. Hold on.
So the son of John Adams, this guy, the sixth president. If you look up his birthday,
July 11th. Wow.
Yeah, John Quincy Adams.
Well, you got to remember, there's a reason why the U.S. is having their World Cup in the 250th anniversary of this country. And I want you to, Rambo, can you pull up that thing of Argentina with the flag? I think there was a date that I wanted to just make sure that I wasn't tripping when I saw it. Like the date of
February 27th, it was established, the pi number.
Yeah, but I forgot what year it was. Oh, there you go. 1812. I mean,
War of 1812. There you go.
And that was the England, and that was the UK, that was England, and stuff like that.
And John Adams was the president. Yep.
So there you go. I mean, that's another clue as to. Let me look at the date span real quick. Oh, there you go. 112 days, 3 months, 3 months and 22 days from the start of from Argentina's establishment to the start of the War of 1812. 3 months and 22 days on the nose.
How convenient.
I mean, how convenient that England can possibly make the finals and win it, just possibly win it, when this country is 250 years old, where we're so, free from them, which we know is in quotations. So, yeah.
Yeah, so there's another part of the Statue of Liberty. It ties into 7-Eleven. I don't have the, you can't see it from here, but the Statue of Liberty is on an 11-pointed pedestal. And it has a 7-pointed crown. 7-Eleven is coded into the Statue of Liberty. So the Statue of Liberty is a very big part of this. So this fall, well, anyway, yeah, so it's 7-Eleven. It's coded in the Statue of Liberty, 7-pointed crown, 11-pointed pedestal. And so this is what I wanted to show, that Brazil's connection to Air Jordan. Jordan is all of this is about Jordan. The fact that every team walks out to what essentially is Michael Jordan's, that's his dynastic theme. That's all about Michael Jordan, Sirius by the Alan Parsons Project. Every team's walking out of that for the 23rd World Cup. He's central to this, and the GOAT theme. That's why you see Messi. That's why Messi, Yamal makes a lot of sense for the GOAT ritual, because this is about Jordan and the GOAT, and Yamal he's the kid. Adidas has a advertising campaign where they say the kid and the GOAT. So the GOAT is Messi, Yamal is the kid, baby.
And
GOAT.
Rambo, one of the things for the Justin Bieber is playing the halftime performance at the thing, and he's holding a kid over his shoulder. So
a baby goat.
Not a goat, just a kid. You can see Justin Bieber's holding the legs of a child.
A child. Oh, okay.
A human child. Like So like he's supposed to be performing at the halftime show. So that might be another clue. They have that, like literally just holding a kid on his shoulders, like with the legs.
Again, shout out to BPM. Appreciate all the great contributions from the brilliant patrons. He pointed out Justin Bieber did a song called Baby, and he thinks there's a chance Justin Bieber performed Baby, partially because of the image you talked about, based on that. But remember the name of the president of FIFA. Was a very unpopular person. He's kind of a really Trump lapdog. He created an award just for Donald Trump that never existed, the FIFA Peace Prize. And then FIFA's abused all sorts of countries at this World Cup. They having dogs sniff the Uruguayan national team. They had to get off their bus and that dogs sniffing for drugs on the national. That's not how you treat national teams at World Cups. Iran has been abused, and they had some players from Africa, I think Senegal. They're on the tarmac. They left the plane. They had to be searched. So they gave him, Donald Trump, the FIFA Peace Prize, which never existed. It's pretty much a middle finger to everybody, honestly. But he's kind of a Trump lapdog. He is not kind of. He is. Donald Trump called him up to say a U.S. player is supposed to be suspended. Donald Trump just called Infantino up and said, no, he's playing. He's not suspended. And he played, which is, and they're doing that out in the open. It's hubris. But nonetheless, Infantino, who we talked about his name. He looks like Elmer Fudd, who Elmer Fudd looks like a baby. His name is Infantino, infant. A shout out to BPM pointing out that wouldn't it be appropriate for Justin Bieber to sing the song Baby, especially with Infantino being the FIFA president. And I wonder if Infantino would get it that they might be making fun of him by having him sing Baby. I really hope he sings Baby. But shout out to BPM for that one. But this is the Jordan connection to Brazil. Jordan Brand and Brazil Football Federation for your partnership, rooted in greatness. So yeah, Brazil. So Brazil wears their road jerseys have the Jumpman. Again, talking about the fall, the jump, it's the Jumpman logo. That's how Jordan ties into all these falls as well. The Jumpman logo. The bungee jumping incident in Brazil, which wasn't even a jump. He was thrown, but nonetheless, this Jumpman is a big part of it all. But they have their warm ups have the Jumpman logo, and their road jerseys away kit has the Jumpman, but their iconic home yellow has the Nike swoosh. But that's Brazil is just in the middle of everything. Brazil and Jordan. So this actually brings up, since we're talking about England and Argentina tomorrow, this brings up Liam Payne. Liam Payne, the singer of One Direction from England, how he fell from a balcony from a hotel in Argentina last year. Liam Payne had a fall. This is the thing, this fall thing. And he's pictured, so he's a very avid football/soccer fan. And he's even pictured on his Wikipedia page in an England jersey. So England is related to this. Now you could say that means England's going to take the fall. I actually disagree, because I see, and you were just, Josh was just talking about 322. I'm just seeing this here in his personal life. His son was born on 322, March 22nd.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you were just talking about 322. Liam Payne's. So you could say Liam Payne, who's identified on his Wikipedia page, he's wearing that England shirt, the football jersey. Could that mean, and he fell, so that's the fall of England, just like the Statue of Liberty, you could say, was the fall for France. But it was in Argentina. And my thing is, I think it goes towards Argentina is because of Argentina's sun emblem on their flag. This is about the sunset, especially with the death of a player. Just had a death of a player from Mamelodi Sundowns, which I've been actually I talked about this team already before he died in my decode about the fall. I talked about the Sundowns and the Brazilians. So I'm not just talking about this now after he died. I was already talking about the Sundowns. Those who see my decodes know that I already mentioned this team. This is not a household name, even in the world of soccer, but I have some knowledge of African soccer, which, it's not a big mainstream subject, which is why I was familiar with this team, why I talked about them even before this happened, because it fits right into the theme of the sundown and the sunset. Argentina has, with this theme going around, it's not a good time to have a sun symbol. I think this means the sun setting for Argentina. So I have another.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what I think it is. And Liam Payne is part of that with the whole. So I actually have a decode. This is a written decode that I did. It's called Viva La Vida from the song by Coldplay. Mm-hmm. It's for patrons. It's on my Patreon, but it's a pretty lengthy decode and very in-depth, and I appreciate the positive response I've gotten from patrons. And at length, I've talked about this fall.
And this is one post, right, Rambo?
This is one post, yes. It's a written post. It has a lot of images, as you can see, so it's not a whole...
So you guys, if you're going to tell me this post alone isn't worth $5, which you pay for an entire month with Rambo's Patreon, I just wanted to use this as an opportunity to remind everybody this is the type of content that you're getting for the month on his Patreon. So give Rambo a shot. Thank you so much for sharing, Rambo.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I appreciate that. So Jordan 26, I've gotten great feedback. Thanks for all the great feedback I got from patrons on this post. I do point out forgotten story behind World Cup walkout music inspired by Michael Jordan. So this is like the top English sports network. They have radio and internet podcasts. They have all top athletes and former athletes. Talk Sport is the top sports network in England. So they talk about how, of course, this audience didn't need to be told this, but this is for the soccer audience. They're like, wow, you mean it's forgotten? Not by us in this community. I guess by most people it is. Forgot the story behind World Cup walkout music by Michael Jordan's all-conquering Bulls, and they show Messi and Michael Jordan. I mean, you could say, is Messi going to walk out? I don't think so. So this is what I'm pointing to in my decode. This is just a little excerpt from the decode. So the game tomorrow, July 15th, is between England and Argentina. And I talked about The Last Dance. I did another post on The Last Dance. There was a documentary on Netflix, since this is all about Michael Jordan, called The Last Dance. I think it came out in 2020? Was it 2020 or during the lockdown? I remember it was during COVID. it came out April 19th. This is when it came out as a 10-part series, extremely successful, and it was an award-winning documentary of behind-the-scenes footage of Michael Jordan and the Bulls, their sixth and final championship, that's why they call it the last dance. It was the end of the dynasty. It ended with that season. It was an 97-98 season. Well, guess where the Chicago Bulls started the 97-98 season, which is the start of the last dance preseason. It was in Paris, in front of the tower. And so I talked about that. But then after I'd been talking about the last dance for a while, after I'd already been talking about this, and I talked about how it's the last dance for Cristiano Ronaldo and Lionel Messi, the two GOATs of modern soccer, Cristiano Ronaldo's sister comes out to the media after I said this. This is dated July 2nd, so it must have been around July 4th. She came out and said, either July 1st or July 2nd, she said it to the media. I'd already been making this comparison. She says, oh, this is my brother's last dance. Cristiano Ronaldo's 2026 World Cup will be his last dance with Portugal, says his sister, Katia. I'd already been comparing it to the last dance. Now they come out and say it. I jokingly say it with some of my patrons. It seems as if they watch the Truth Codes for ideas. In the Illuminati playing card deck, the famous Illuminati playing card deck, they actually have a conspiracy theorist card. And what they say on the Illuminati playing card deck for the conspiracy theorist card is that the Illuminati will look at conspiracy theories to get ideas. So just based on that conspiracy theory card in the Illuminati playing card deck, it looks as if they're saying, let's watch. I'm sure they're not looking at me. I'd say, oh, that's a good idea. The Last Dance. So let's tell Cristiano Ronaldo's sister to reference The Last Dance. That's what it feels like, because this has happened a ton of times. This is not just the first time. But it is kind of funny. Nonetheless, this is when The Last Dance came out, April 19th. So Cristiano Ronaldo's been eliminated, so he's danced his last dance. When will Messi dance his last dance? Will it be in the final? Or it could be in the third place game. So if he loses the semifinal tomorrow, he could still play the third place game. It
would be in Miami where he was playing for the MLS.
It would be in Miami, exactly. Or I looked at the duration time between when The Last Dance came out, which is April 19th, 2020, when it was launched, and the game tomorrow, the semifinal between Argentina and England, which potentially could be Messi's last dance. The best players, for third place games, the best players tend not to play because you just lost the final. Your emotions are not there, even though it's rigged. Not all players know that it's rigged. The emotion is real. You can see it. They're not acting. If it is rigged, a lot of the players don't know. They really are genuinely crying. They're not that good an actor. They mastered soccer. They didn't master acting. That's a different skill. Sometimes you just don't have the emotion to play the third place game, and nobody remembers the third place game. Even the most diehard soccer fans can't tell you who won they can tell you who won the World Cup in Brazil in 2014. They can't tell you who was third. No one remembers that. They can tell you who won in Russia in 2018. They can't remember who finished third. Nobody really cares about the third place game. So more often than not, you get the players who didn't get to play, you put them out in the third place game. So Messi's last dance, if Argentina loses tomorrow, most likely would be that game. Unless they want him to score, they want him to get the Golden Boot scoring award. Maybe they might let him play for that to see if he could score more goals. It would be interesting. They'd be playing France in that third place game, and that was the final last year. To talk about another thing to look out for, do they want France versus Argentina again in 2 consecutive World Cups, but in the third place game? They might go with that. Nonetheless, the game tomorrow, July 15th, for Argentina and for Lionel Messi. If this is his last dance, it would be 6 years, 2 months, and 26 days since The Last Dance was released. 6226. Those are the gematria values of Jordan, and the ordinal and Pythagorean, simple and Pythagorean. These are the two simplest ciphers, the most straightforward, you could say, base ciphers. 6226 Jordan. It's all about Jordan. The Last Dance is about Jordan. And from the release of The Last Dance to tomorrow's game is 6 years, 2 months, 26 days. To me, this looks like it's pointing to Lionel Messi's potential last dance tomorrow. That's how it looks to me. You could have the Messi, Lamine Yamal thing, which a lot of people are noticing that. So around the world, usually the theme that most people notice, and this is outside of our community, we look at gematria, and around the world, for the most part, they don't look at things like that and talk about rituals and rigging games. But everybody around the world now is talking about, in the soccer world, the Lionel Messi essentially baptizing a baby Lamine Yamal, and everybody is expecting that. And they tend not to go with what everybody expects. People aren't really looking at the other things that we look at date durations, the parallels with popular culture, and they don't look at it that way. I think that one's too obvious. The Lamine Yamal Messi bathing it. I think that one's just too obvious. I think England will win. And I think this points to Messi's last dance.
England are favorites.
Yeah, they should be. Argentina hasn't played anybody. They've actually, with no disrespect to their opponents, you can see how they've rigged Argentina's path to the final. They haven't played anybody. The first really, the teams that gave him a already good challenge with Cape Verde, they're like the story of the World Cup, the Cinderellas. Nobody expected Cape Verde, an island country of 500,000, to perform the way they did. Cape Verde pushed Argentina to the limit, took them to extra time. That's overtime in soccer parlance. And Argentina scraped through on an own goal by Cape Verde. But nonetheless, when they did the scheduling, when they fixed who Argentina would play in the next round and who they play in the early rounds, these are teams that weren't expected to be that competitive. So you could say they got competitive matches, but no, not from a team that was 500,000 population. Nobody expected that. So they got a surprise, and they played Egypt. Egypt literally played the best game in their history. That was the best performance in the history of Egyptian soccer, and the officiating was atrocious, objectively speaking. It was atrocious officiating. Everybody's talking about bias. The officiating has been towards Argentina, and it has. They've been given a really easy path until they played Switzerland. Was the very first competitive team they won. And I think there's a player on Switzerland. I think, this is my opinion, conspiracy theory, they use him to throw the game. So they were in soccer, when somebody gets a red card, ejected, it's not like American sports where you can replace the player. No, you play with a man less. It's a very big disadvantage to play with one man less. And this guy got, it's like in basketball, two technicals is a ejection, 2 yellow cards is a red card, and his 2 yellow cards, to me, were obvious. Like, from our perspective, the way we look at it, certain players may throw games. Again, it's conspiracy theory. Of course, you'll never prove it. It looks blatantly obvious to me. And Switzerland's best player was injured, interestingly. Was he really injured? I don't know. But Argentina, things really work out for Argentina. Their toughest opponents, best player was injured. And then this guy just, I don't know what gets into him. I think I do know what got into him. He commits 2 yellow card offenses, which were ridiculous. And Switzerland's down to 10 men. That's how it's been for Argentina. But it's rigged. So Argentina, if you're in Argentina, those who maybe don't care that it's rigged, from Argentina, well, it's not always rigged for you. Sometimes it's rigged against you. And I think it's rigged against Argentina. It's been rigged for England as well. They got that call with the camera in the sky. The spider cam, which is what they call it. Very interesting, the spider thing. Which, real quick, I'll do the spider thing, and then I'll let Cody get in. Real quick, just not talk about the spider cam. We're talking about
it also, before we get into that, it does make sense that they make Argentina get this far so that they can energy siphon all those Argentinian fans and all those people that had money on Messi to make it back to the final.
Absolutely. What they like, when they talk about loosh, human energy, that's them, in parentheses, you can speculate as who they are. Some entity exists on Earth which does not like humans. It's pretty clear. And that's been since day one of civilization. It does not like humans. It's not gloom and doom. The human will does prevail often. Otherwise, this place would just be a hopeless hellhole. It's not. There's still hope. There still is some positivity. That's the human spirit that has to prevail. There's an entity here that does not like humans. So it leeches off. its currency is energy. And they like that low vibrational energy, anxiety, worry, despair, just sadness, depression. It leeches off of that. But what it likes best, ideally, it's not just that low energy of depression and despair and anxiety. They like that. But ideally, what they like is when you go from a high energy, when you're happy and resonating at a high level, and then you crash. That crash from the high energy level to the lower energy level, that's ideally what they like. And they will feast on that. So what they like ideally is that expectation of I'm going to win or things are going to be great, and then it's cut out from under you. The rug is pulled from under you and you plummet. Ideally, that's what they like best. So they like to pump. Let's say you build things up just to chop them down. They really like doing that. But again, the positive is they don't assume that they have full reign in this realm. The human spirit should still prevail. Those who are pro-human. Love is the strongest vibration. It's a stronger vibration than the vibration of whatever they are. It is literally pure unconditional love is the strongest vibration in existence. It's a God vibration, and it will always be stronger than, no matter how much power they have. That's why they try. A lot of their strategy is to prevent you from emanating that love. And it's difficult in this world to keep emanating that. It is. Or to make it seem like, especially for males, it sounds sappy or weak. No, that's literally the strongest force in existence is the power of love, which just came into play. The Empire State Building, they unfurled the banner on the Empire State Building about the power of love. I just want to talk about the spider thing real quick. I'll let Cody get in. The spider, right? So it's called a spider cam. I talked about how the ball has a chip in it when England played Norway. So England are getting all the calls. It's rigged for England. So now you have two teams, England and Argentina, who've gotten all the calls blatantly. The officiating at this World Cup, objectively speaking, for soccer fans who've watched multiple World Cups, by far, objectively, 2026 World Cup is the worst officiated World Cup in history. And that's with VAR, which is called the video VAR replay. You would think that with VAR, new technology, you'd have fairness. Well, it makes no difference if you have video technology or not. If it's rigged by the authorities, then it'll be rigged regardless. It's not supposed to be fair. Soccer fans have to realize this in general. Don't get your heart set in this. It's not fair. It's rigged. Well, this audience doesn't need to be. I'm preaching to the choir here. But nonetheless, England's gotten all the calls. Argentina's gotten all the calls. Something's got to give tomorrow. Someone's going to come to grips with the fact, like, this time it's rigged against you. It's been nice up to now. The ball hit the spider cam. Everybody saw this on the field. They saw it. The rules of the game are play should stop, but play continued, and England scored. It's called the spider cam. And why is a spider cam significant? I've talked about the spider before. So that was with Queen Elizabeth's funeral, where a spider appeared on the coffin of Queen Elizabeth. And we know that was CGI, more than likely. It just happened to appear on this white card because if a spider was in the flowers, nobody would see it. The live feed of Queen Elizabeth's coffin at her funeral, the spider appeared and made world headlines. Spider on Queen Elizabeth's coffin. I did multiple decodes on this. It's most likely CGI because now you have they didn't have it at the time, but now, especially iPhones, I don't know if all iPhones have it. You have the spider filter where you can just film somebody and it'll show a spider crawling on their face. This is technology that everybody has now. Every cell phone has it now. That's most likely what they did, but it was about the symbolism of the spider. So I couldn't help thinking about that when I saw the big story of the spider cam. That's what they call it. They call it spider cam. It's part of the big controversy that got England into the semifinal by defeating Norway when the ball hit the spider cam when play should have stopped. Everybody saw it. The authorities saw it, but England are supposed to be there. The spider cam. And it ties into Queen Elizabeth, the spider on her coffin. Argentina have a player, and this is against Norway. Norway's star player is Erling Haaland, who plays in England for Manchester City, which is very significant. So Erling Haaland, his former teammate at Manchester City, plays now for Argentina. His name is Julian Alvarez. He used to play for Manchester City. I thought I had a clip of here is Julian Alvarez. This is the headline. This is before he left Manchester City. He left Manchester City to play in Spain for Atletico Madrid, where he wants to leave there now. But his name is Julian Alvarez, and his nickname is Spider-Man. The full story behind the Spider-Man connection, that's from the Manchester City's World Cup. So he does, you see the Spider-Man web shooting symbol, which is a major MK Ultra symbol. It is. So they show him in his Argentina jersey and his Manchester City jersey. Again, he left Manchester City. He doesn't play there anymore, but he was there with Erling Haaland as well. So Manchester City is a big part of this. But he was called, his nickname is Spider-Man. So England will be playing against Spider-Man tomorrow. When they got into that game with the Spider-Cam controversy, and their queen, her funeral was headlined by a spider. So the spider is a big part of this. And Erling Haaland, Norway, he was part of it. Manchester City. Manchester City is a big part of it. Now, who plays Spider-Man? Famously, several actors do, but Tom Holland is the current most famous actor to play Spider-Man, Peter Parker. Tom Holland. The name sounds like Holland. There's a big story out right now. They're all told to do this. This is part of the ritual. They're told to do this. Celebrities. They like to merge, sports with show business just to get the audiences to promote the different sports, especially as they're trying to really promote soccer in the U.S. Tom Holland once said playing Spider-Man in his 30s to be a bad idea, but now he reveals, he was just trying to leverage Sony. But anyway, he's the highest profile Spider-Man actor, Tom Holland, and his name sounds like Holland, he used to be a teammate at Manchester City with Spider-Man, who plays for Argentina, Julian Alvarez. Well, guess what happened with Tom Holland in the news? This is all planned. Supposedly, he contacted Holland on, I guess, social media or something. He got into Holland's direct messages somehow and asked him, like, hey, could we just meet? I'm a fan of yours. Could we go out for dinner? Tom Holland. And it turned out that Erling Haaland has never heard of Tom Holland. He doesn't know about, he's not into movies like that. Maybe he's into some movies, just not Spider-Man. We don't know how much of this is organic, but you can see how it all fits in so perfectly. Holland, Spider-Man, he was Spider-Man's teammate. The Spider-Cam knocked him out of the World Cup against England, and now Spider-Man calls him. I mean, Holland, it's a big story now. I think it came out yesterday. Yeah.
Rambo, I don't know if you know this, but right after the World Cup, the new Spider-Man movie is coming out. Like literally coming out within a week and a half. Like it's 10 days after it's premiering. And this was one of the reasons I was also kind of on Netherlands, because I knew that this was coming out right after. And in the first movie, Tom Holland actually, in the movie Spider-Man, he goes to Holland and he's in a jail cell with Holland people wearing a Netherlands jersey.
Oh, wow.
And he goes out and he gets picked up by an airplane in that movie after that, in like the Field of Tulips. But then what's even crazier is in that movie, Spider-Man's sidekick or best friend is named Ned Leeds. And Ned is the abbreviation for Netherlands, N-E-D. And Leeds is where Erling Haaland plays.
Yeah. Like he was born in Leeds. He plays for Manchester City. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah. But what's all the odds of all this? You got Tom Holland, you got Holland who plays in Leeds. The character in Spider-Man is called Ned, like Netherlands, and Leeds, like the city. And yeah, so
this isn't the same Spider-Man that James Franco is in, is it?
No.
Because when I think of Spider-Man, I mean Franco is pretty popular for being
the Green Goblin,
right? But that's prior to Tom Holland.
Yeah, this is the new
right.
The first iteration of Spider-Man movies trilogy was what James Franco was in,
right?
So that's great, great insight and contribution. So you can see how. Do you really think this is an organic story, really? That he just happened to be a big fan of Erling Haaland right during the World Cup after he gets eliminated by the Spider-Cam controversy. And now it's a headline. What they're doing is they're bringing show business. The World Cup garners more energy than pretty much any event. So what they're doing is they're promoting the new Spider-Man. Of course, that's what they're doing. He's probably not really. I mean, he might be a soccer fan. I doubt he's really that big a Erling Haaland fan. But the whole thing was they're not going to waste Erling Haaland's time. Do you really think during the World Cup that Erling Haaland is going to go and have dinner with a Hollywood actor? He's concentrating. He's here to work. This is his job. He's not here on vacation. He's working. You don't invite him to, have dinner with you while he's working. It was done to promote. Yeah, great insight. Thank you, Cody. What they're doing here, they're promoting the new Spider-Man, but they're also introducing Erling Haaland and the world of soccer to that to the audience who doesn't follow soccer, who follows more, of movies. They're bringing those audiences together. But so real quick on the Spider-Man thing. So Julian Alvarez tomorrow is a player to watch. He hasn't been starting. Maybe he'll start. I have a feeling he will start. He's been coming off the bench and he scored an unbelievable goal. He actually scored the goal that beat Switzerland, that put Argentina into the semifinal. He's called Spider-Man. And he played for Manchester City, Erling Haaland. So you see how it all fits in. They call it La Araña in Spanish. Araña means spider, which ties into Queen Elizabeth. So spider, real quick, in Jamaica is 71. This is the date we've been talking about, Diana's birthday, 7-1. Araña. So I'll just leave it at that. And great contribution to Connections, Cody. Julian Alvarez is a player to watch. Just real quick, the celebrity fans of Manchester City are the group Oasis, who sing Wonderwall. Wonderwall's become the anthem for England by Oasis. They're also Manchester City fans. So Manchester City is a big part of this. Yeah, there's other stuff, but yeah, Cody, you can get it.
Rambo, did you say that the name for spider in Spanish is araña?
Araña.
Araña.
Yeah.
It sounds exactly like the Dutch word for orange. Araña.
Oh, araña. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah.
It sounds exactly like it.
Yeah.
It's almost the exact same. You cannot make it. You cannot tell a difference, really. So like, that's weird. You got this Netherlands thing. Spider-Man was literally in his movie wearing the Netherlands jersey, and Holland. Again, like I'm a bit perplexed that Netherlands still didn't somehow make it. But again, there's just, there's something with this Spain thing, because Spain beat Netherlands 16 years ago. And I'll go over that a little bit when I get to my slides. But
so this is a player to watch. I say Julian Alvarez, player to watch tomorrow. But what I've shown here, to me, it looks like the coding, especially with the fall of Liam Payne in Argentina, all these sunset rituals. A player from the Mamelodi Sundowns just passing me. To me, that's the clincher. You don't want a sun emblem. That's the clincher. The Mamelodi Sundowns, with all these people falling off balconies. The Brazilian influencer falling off a balcony. Right at the same time, the Brazilian woman being thrown off the bridge. This is about sundown. This is about the sunset. The Statue of Liberty, the light bearer. It holds the light. Lucifer, the fall of Lucifer, the light bearer, falling in Brazil with the McDonald's, red and yellow in the background. But this is not good symbolism for a sun-oriented entity such as Argentina, who have the sun on their flag. I think Liam Payne falling in Argentina is the sun setting in the midst of all these sunset symbols, especially Jaden Adams from South Africa. Very interesting. It's a very American sounding name, isn't it? Not a typical name you'd expect from a black South African. Jaden Adams, very American sounding name. I think, but that's what the symbolism points to. And I would say Julian Alvarez, Spider-Man, the Argentina player to look out for, who hasn't been starting. I think he'll be in the starting lineup tomorrow. So, Cody, you can go ahead, or if AJ or Josh want to add something.
I'm good on my end. Josh, did you have anything?
Nothing as of right now. I think Rambo has some very good information, though, for people who are looking into tomorrow's game.
I could be wrong, of course. I'm not asking people to bet. I'm not a betting channel. If Argentina wins, wins,
anything can happen. But I mean, it just seems that it's very lined up for Argentina's sun to set, so to speak. Tomorrow.
Yeah, the only hesitation I have with that is just I like England too a lot, but this, especially with my Williams stuff, like it makes sense. Um, but like the one thing I'll show here is the eclipse stuff, and which I just really started focusing on more recently. And I'm really starting to think that the whole reason that everyone blames the Jesuits for everything is because they are the eclipse symbol. And I think that if there is something that's running this reality besides humans, it's the luminaries or whatever you want to call them. And the eclipse might be one of the things that actually the energy of the eclipse might actually be scripting these events just around eclipses, because the more you look at the date spans between eclipses and how events align with them, you'll start to see. I'm just going to show quickly a pattern just from the World Cup that shows that. So the Jesuits are known for their sun logo, like Argentina, of course. And the two numbers that I want to just focus on. First of all, I want you to notice that eclipse ritual equals the Jesuit order. Okay, 20184. That's interesting. And so the Jesuit order equals 177. This is an eclipse number. This is not just a gematria value. This is a number that actually matters to eclipses, because consecutive eclipses usually take place 177 days apart. This is why Donald Trump is the key figure on the world stage, because he's born 177 days after a blood moon, and he's born 177 days before a blood moon. In Aleister Crowley's cipher, English Kubala, Donald John Trump equals 177. If you take away his middle name, Donald Trump in Aleister Crowley's cipher equals 136. The Jesuits equals 136, and 177 is the 136th composite number. So these two numbers align perfectly with, again, why do you think the Jesuit order equals 177, which is the eclipse number, and 130, and if you just take the Jesuits, it equals 136. This is just in the ordinal cipher, nothing complicated. Well, the Jesuits were founded 3 days after or before an eclipse from Saros number 136. Now, the August 2nd eclipse over Egypt next year is on the same Saros number as the Jesuit eclipse. So I'm just calling this the Jesuit eclipse because this is when they were founded, right before this 136 eclipse. The August 2nd eclipse next year is called the eclipse of the century for a reason. And it's perfectly placed over these so important areas in the world, like Egypt, Mecca, and Gibraltar. Like Rambo was telling me before the stream, this eclipse looks like it's drawn perfectly by the hand of God. Let's put it that way. It looks like it's specifically drawn to hit the most prominent places on all of Earth almost. But anyway, that eclipse is from Saros 136, which is the same Saros the Jesuits were founded under. So now that we know that Jesuits equals 136, we had the death of Lindsey Graham, and we're going to go back to July 11th. And we started out by talking about this plane crash riddle on July 11th. Well, Lindsey Graham died on July 11th. Let me find my slide here. Shout out to Derek from Gematrinator, because he's the one, again, I got to shout out him because he's the one that focuses his whole research on eclipses, essentially. And I'm just kind of taking on the oars now and just saying, like, there's really something to this. And I'm determined to, like, like just how it kind of messes, like does things, how kind of the eclipses have this energy. And that's why the Jesuits are who they are. They're paying tribute to the eclipses. So anyway, Lindsey Graham equals the Jesuits, 136. He died, he just happened to die on the anniversary of the middle eclipse. When I say middle eclipse, I mean there's 71 eclipses in Saros 136. So there's 71 eclipses. The middle eclipse of that Saros would be eclipse number 36, which happened on July 11th, 1991. So Lindsey Graham just happened to die on the anniversary of Saros 136 eclipse, okay? And his name equals 136, like the Jesuits. I don't know how anyone can deny that. This in the middle eclipse, as Derek has pointed out, is an energy center for this Saros. So the fact that this is the eclipse is important. So that's the ritual with that eclipse. Now, the same day that happened, you had the death of this soccer player, Adams. Look at his gematria, 177. Again, 177 is the 136 composite. These numbers are married, and they're both connected to the eclipses and the Jesuits. That's why his gematria is 177, and he died the same day as Lindsey Graham, whose gematria is 136. But why did he die on that day? Because South Africa is where Spain won their last World Cup. And they are I want to emphasize this heavily. Spain is the only team to ever win a World Cup on the day of a total solar eclipse. The only team. They did that in South Africa on July 11th, 2010. Now, that was not the same Saros, of course, but it was an eclipse, and it was the only eclipse, only time it's. But look what look what the number of the eclipse actually was. It was eclipse 146, which is Donald Trump's birthday. So now we know. I believe this is why Spain is in the final. 16 years later, after they were in the final on a total solar eclipse, they're in it again. Their captain is number 16. 136. Remember, I've been talking about this number. 136 is what? The 16th triangular number. And Lindsey Graham died on July 11th, which was the anniversary of Spain winning, and his name equals 136, which is the 16th triangular. And this whole World Cup has been a tribute to the 16 and the 53. The NBA was 53, and then the World Cup was 16. So the 16 has been like the main number. And this Adams guy, again, he played for South Africa. So literally paying tribute. And his middle name is Oswin, reminding us that the birthday, the final is on the birthday of Oz Perlman. His 44th birthday, just like Prince William just turned 44 last month. Okay, so then they paid tribute to this, and this is like the most mind-blowing thing that I found. In the game between Spain and Belgium. Now, let me actually just point out why that was about an eclipse. Because check this out. Belgium equals eclipse. Okay, Belgium is a Grand Slam perfect match to eclipse. They played 33 days before the next total solar eclipse, which just so happens to be going over where? Spain. So Spain beat Belgium 33 days before the eclipse over Spain. Belgium equals eclipse. Belgium equals 33. Eclipse equals 33. 33 days. Now, why is this crazy? Because back in 1990, Belgium lost to Spain in I believe it's their only World Cup match. I might be wrong, but I believe it's their only World Cup match besides the one they just played. But the point is, Spain won 2-1. And I was even thinking, I wonder if this score of this game, before it even happened, I was wondering, is this score going to be 2-1 again, Spain? Because why is it so perfect? Because notice, Spain beat Belgium 31 days before an eclipse in 1990. What makes it even more perfect is not only was it almost the same amount of days, just 2 days off, but that eclipse that they beat them before in 1990 was the same Saros number as the eclipse coming up over Spain this year. And again, these numbers don't come around. Every eclipse does not have the same Saros number. It just so happens that Spain and Belgium played almost exactly the same amount of days before the same Saros eclipses. I don't know if you guys, hopefully you guys understand that. It's the eclipse from Saros 126. That's the eclipse next month, and that was the eclipse in 1990. And again, why was the final score the same exact score from that year? Look, it was exact repeat. The only thing that wasn't the same is that it was just 2 days off. If it was 33 days before, it would have been even more perfect. But the 31 is actually interesting because 31 is the gematria of Spain. So that's interesting. But then when they beat Belgium, the game-winning goal scorer was Michael Marino, Mikel Marino. And he scored the game-winning goal on 7-10, 1 day before the anniversary of Spain winning the World Cup in South Africa. And what's crazy is the woman who brought out the opening ball for that game was Tate McRae. And why did they use her? Because look how perfect. I mean, this is just undeniable. Tate McRae was born 7 years and 10 days after the game-winning goal scorer of that game. And then she was born 7 years and 10 days before Spain won the World Cup on the Eclipse. Unbelievable, folks. Like, there's not even any gematria here. There's no gematria. Like, this is just simple date measurements, just simply looking at the game-winning goal scorer and the opening ball carrier. You could have looked at that. If you would have been able to look at that before and find that, you would have been, oh my gosh, I think Mikel Marino scores a goal here. I mean, it would have been perfect, right? So anyway, 7-10, that's the day that this happened. And that's the date that separates them. What's even more crazy about this is Tate McRae, if you actually add the day, the span of her days, she was 7 years, 11 days old on 7/11 when Spain won the World Cup. This is what made me be very hard against Spain not going to the final. Like, when I saw this, I was like, I cannot go. It's very hard for me to go France here after seeing this, especially knowing that Spain is having an eclipse next month and next year. So Spain is the only country that's having these two huge eclipses in the next year going over it. It's the only country. No other country is having both, except maybe a little bit of Portugal, but Portugal's not fully in totality. But yeah, that's the importance of the eclipses. But let me just go back and show you. I already talked about how the Jesuits are the eclipse. That's what they represent. And again, 177 is the Jesuit order and 136 is the Jesuits. But when I really started realizing that it's all about the eclipses is the game between Egypt and Argentina. Because look at this. The GOAT Messi leads a comeback against Egypt. Now, Egypt is the location of the big eclipse next year on August 2nd, which also goes over Spain. But they came back against Egypt. These two teams had to play because this is about these two eclipses next year. The GOAT, Messi, and when I saw this, I was like, I didn't even know this eclipse was happening, but look at this. The GOAT year starts on an eclipse over Argentina. Are you kidding me? And then, of course, because I told you 177 is the amount of days between consecutive eclipses. It's not just a gematria number. This is more significant than just looking at gematria. This is actually a number that is used in the sky for these astrological alignments. So that means 177 days after the Argentina GOAT year eclipse is the Egypt eclipse, which also goes over Spain. This game between Argentina and Egypt happened on the day leaving 177 days in the year. That's why they did it on that day, because it was a tribute to these two eclipses separated by this amount of days. The guy who scored the game, the first goal of the game, Christian Romero, equals 177. Of course he does. He had to. And he's a tribute to Cristiano Ronaldo. His name actually equals Cristiano Ronaldo. He has the same initials. He has almost the same name. It's funny how they put a guy with Messi who actually is basically a version of Cristiano Ronaldo. If you look in the Latin cipher, Christian Romero actually equals Cristiano Ronaldo. Same gematria. But anyway, he scored the first goal. But who scored the last goal? Enzo, what's his name again? Enzo Fernandez. Look what he equals. 177. Now, some people might say this is a stretch. You're using some random cipher. Yeah, I mean, the first one's more perfect because it's just using the ordinal cipher. But I've already proven that Aleister Crowley's English Kubala cipher is significant. In fact, just look up English Kubala on Wikipedia. It's literally there. There's a Wikipedia page for the whole cipher. It's not just some random cipher, guys. There's a Wikipedia page for this cipher. So why is it important? Because Aleister Crowley, who basically had this connection with Donald Trump and the Moonchild eclipses, right? Donald Trump born on a blood moon. Now remember, Donald Trump, let me just show this first. If you just go to this Aleister Crowley cipher, derived directly from his book, Donald Trump equals 136. Okay, there's your eclipse, your Jesuit eclipse number. Now remember, 177 is the 136 composite. But just add his middle name, and what do you get? 177. This is proof of why Donald Trump is who he is, in my opinion. 177, you take away his middle name, you get the 136. These are the two numbers I just highlighted. Now, again, let me just show this so people can see it one last time. Donald Trump, born 177 days after a blood moon on December 19, 1945, and 177 days before a blood moon on December 8th, 1946. And again, Donald John Trump, 177. But what's crazy is, look how he equals 177 in this cipher. Who's the guy who scored the eclipsing game-winning goal for Argentina? Enzo Fernandez. What does he equal? 177. In the same cipher as total eclipse. And who died just a few days? And I got confirmation of this because I did this decode right here that you see on the screen 1 day before the death of who? Bonnie Tyler. And what did she sing? Total Eclipse of the Heart. So this was my confirmation. I was literally on a trip. Like, I did this decode, I showed it to everyone, and the next day I'm on a trip, and the big news was the woman who sings Total Eclipse dies. Are you kidding me? I just did a decode about it. And so that was just like a little piece of confirmation for me to see that play out. And yeah, and then so that's the whole point. And let me just show you. So this goat year eclipse that starts on 2/6, which is Ronald Reagan's birth, or wait, is that his birthday or his death date? It's either Ronald Reagan's birthday or his death date. I can't remember now. If anyone wants to help me out with that, I can look it up. But it's his birthday, isn't it? Yeah, it's his birthday.
What date? June? Was it June?
February 6th. February 6th.
Yeah, he's an Aquarius. I know that. So that's probably his birthday.
Yeah, it's his birthday because Ronaldo was born 1 day before. He was named after Ronald Reagan. So what's crazy is that this goat eclipse over Argentina is 1 day after Ronaldo's birthday, the other kind of goat, right? But it's not his birthday. It's 1 day after, and it's on Ronald Reagan's birthday. So it starts then, but then 177 days later, of course, is the eclipse of the century.
That's also the same death date. 2/6 is also the same death date as Minoru Yamasaki's, architect of the World Trade Center.
Oh, yeah. It's a good one. Yeah, and that's the Queen's Ascension Day also. 2/6. So that's a huge day. It's actually the day I started my channel.
Oh, wow.
Also. But anyway, the point is this eclipse, this goat eclipse over Argentina, it's on 2/6, right? So if we just go from the World Cup final to this goat eclipse, that's what I'm going to call it, on 2027, it would be 202 days, which, funny enough, is the gematria of total solar eclipse. Hold on. So there's a total solar eclipse 202 days after the World Cup final. And it's on the goat over Argentina. And that's the gematria of total solar eclipse. Now, look at this. Not only is it 202 days, it's 6 months, 2 weeks, and 4 days. Who's the goat and whose birthday is that? And who's he play for?
That's Messi, right?
Yeah, it's the World Cup final is 6 months, 2 weeks, and 4 days before the GOAT year eclipse over Argentina. That is Messi, the GOAT of Argentina's birthday. So for him to not be in the final off that connection is hard for me to believe. Like, maybe he won't be. I cannot say for sure he will, but England has a lot for it, as Rambo just showed. But that's the one thing that's holding me back. And I believe the reason that he baptized Lamine Yamal is because he represents John the Baptist. Messi's born on the birthday or the feast day of John the Baptist. And think about how John the Baptist is baptizing Jesus. So he baptized Yamal. I always say Yamal, but Yamal, right? So just like John paved the way to baptize Jesus, now Messi is he kind of handing the torch or baptizing the new child, and think about how when you type in the name Lamine Yamal, it equals 191, like Society of Jesus, right? So Jesus, Society of Jesus. But not only that, it also equals like winter solstice has that 191. So this is a huge number with like the sun, winter solstice 191, summer solstice 191. And today, for me it's yesterday, but today when Lamine Yamal won against France, he was 19 years and 1 day old. So he was 191. His gematria is 191. His coach is born on the summer solstice. The coach of Spain is born on the summer solstice, 191. And then let's not overlook that summer solstice is a perfect match to Society of Jesus. So summer solstice, Society of Jesus. And so the sun and the moon, right? Argentina is like silver. Argentine is silver, but they have a sun logo. So the Argentina is kind of like a duality of the sun and the moon, because Argentina and sun on their flag. And Spain is kind of really sun symbolism, but they also have the twin pillars, which is like the Temple of Solomon, like sun and moon. Sun and moon make the eclipse. So it's the coming together of the opposites. It's why they pay tribute to the Baphomet too, right? Because it's the coming together of opposites. It's the two becoming one, just like the eclipse. That's the 201. So that's why Taylor Swift just had a wedding too, the two becoming one. And it's kind of all goes back to that.
Since you're mentioning that, it just hit me. There was a lot of talk about 1997 earlier, right?
Right.
In 1997, the Spice Girls, the U.S. released their song "Two Become One" in '97.
Oh, it's a Spice Girls song. To become one. Interesting. So that was, when was that? It says December 16, 1996, but
the U.S. version, it came out in the U.S. it says in July 1997. The song was released in the United States.
Oh yeah, I see that. Okay, July, huh? I wonder. It just says July, but I wonder what the actual date is. Be interesting to see that. Look at this. Robbie Williams is connected to this. Makes me think of Robin Williams. But yeah, that's something to look at for sure, because
the music video is actually recorded in New York.
Yeah. The two became one in New York.
Yeah. So I think there might be something to that as well, because they are from England.
Yeah.
So that's why.
Yeah, I definitely can't discount England at all. I mean, just 100%. But like I said, it'll be interesting to see what they end up doing with this And I'm just wondering if the GOAT eclipse really is that important, or if it's just more about, okay, if it's more about these two eclipses together, it will be Argentina. But if it's more just about this eclipse over Egypt, because this eclipse also goes over Gibraltar. So August 2nd, 2027 eclipse.
I just keep it in mind too, Cody, with the Spice Girls connection, Posh Spice and Beckham. We were talking about the wine ritual just last week, I think it was.
Right. I forgot about that with Beckham. So that they were married, weren't they?
Yeah, I don't know if they're still together or something, but yeah. When I think soccer and Spice Girls, I would think Posh Spice and David Beckham.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's the eclipse, right? It goes over, as Rambo pointed out, this is like, it's almost like they drew it perfectly with a pencil, like the hand of God, right? It goes directly over Mecca. It goes directly over the Egypt, the pyramids, but then it goes right over the Gibraltar, like the Strait of Gibraltar, like, I mean, perfectly. And what makes this interesting is if you actually look up who that actually belongs to, well, it's actually a British. It's owned by the British. So this is the one thing
to take a vacation during that time.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people like. I would love to actually see that. I would love to be in the pyramids and see the eclipse. I mean, I think that would be just. I think that would just be
cleansing. For sure.
Yeah, I mean, it would just be so much. I can't even imagine like what that would. I don't know if I'll get a chance to go or not, but that I think about that and I'm like, even seeing it over the Strait of Gibraltar as well. I mean, yeah. So, but that's my decode basically. I just wanted to highlight the eclipses, and will it be England versus Spain to basically just pay tribute to this eclipse of the century, which goes over essentially right over England's territory, right, which is also Spain, or will it be a tribute to the GOAT eclipse also next year? So that's kind of what I'm thinking. I don't think there's anything else I want to point out. Just simply some stuff with Bonnie Tyler when she did the eclipse of the heart, or she died 821 days after the second Great American Eclipse on 4/8/2024. Well, that's pretty mind-blowing because there was two Great American Eclipses. The first one was actually on 8/21. So she died 821 days after the second one to pay tribute to the first one, which was on that date. So again, everything, if you just look, I do this all the time now because, and again, shout out to Kate who created this calculator. I can easily see everything I need to see in connection to eclipses because of this calculator. If you see this little bar here, it tells me every date I had type in there. I can see every measurement between the eclipses before that date and the eclipses after that date. So another interesting thing is that this final is 138 days after the blood moon on 3/3 this year, which was the last blood moon until the end of 2028. Now, why is 138 days interesting? Because from the blood moon to the final is 138, but what's the gematria of blood moon? 138. Wow. And that's obviously Donald Trump's gematria in his in just the base cipher. So just little things like this is why I love this calculator. And I'm not trying to like just push it, but it's so useful, this calculator. I can see every eclipse on every day, which I can make way more connections when I have a tool like this. Not to mention I can save every date I ever type in. And I just see everyone still using, the normal calculators and stuff, which is fine. But for me, I'm telling you guys, when you start looking at this, you really start seeing so many extra things. It's just an amazing tool that Kate created. Like, how she even came up with this is just mind-boggling to me. To have all these features, not to mention, I can even pull up the chart for every day just right here on the screen. I don't have to, and I have all my historical dates. I have all the number properties here. I have all the Bible gematria. I can just click a verse and I can see the gematria of every single cipher, the gematria of every verse. I can check every eclipse right here. Sorrows, I can go through every list.
This is only for like $11 a month.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a tool that's actually worth $11 a month, it's this. I mean, like it's just beyond belief what you can do, and I haven't even begun to touch the surface on what I can do with this. It just, once you learn it, it's just it feels like you're playing with like a cheat code to me, because again, I can see every eclipse. I can see all the astrology stuff. I can see all the numbers. I can have my own notes section here where you can type out all of your own notes and have it right there. You can add in all your data. So you can add in what the gematria is of all the months, like January 1st. You see this? It's all in here. So you can just copy and paste and see what, if you're just looking at a certain day, like January 7th, you have it here in case you want to know the gematria of it. But yeah, that's my push of, I would never push something that I don't actually use and don't actually find valuable. And this is something that I find, as a decoder, find invaluable.
Especially I think it's just a matter of getting used to it. You know what I mean? Like, I'll say on the surface, it looks a little intimidating, but you don't know what you don't know. You just gotta spend some time in it, just like anything, you know?
Yeah, it looks intimidating for sure. It absolutely does. You even have these dates here. You have every date. You can find the Hebrew date on the calendar and the Islamic calendar. So you have those. You have the date numerologies, of course, here. You can just click on a number and number properties come up. So you can put it in here. Yeah. So I agree with AJ. It looks intimidating, but I've been using it now for how many months? And I only would have found half of what I've found since then if I didn't have this. Like I would have missed so many things without this. Especially like just having this part here where you can see everything that's happened on this day. Like I can see that today is the final is Oz Perlman's birthday. I can see it's the 23rd World Cup final. I can see that the original World Trade Center was topped out 55 years before this date, which is also super interesting. So like the World Cup finals on the anniversary of the World Trade Center 2 being topped out. And 7/19 is kind of like another 9/11 connection because the date is 7/19. But if you type in 7109, it's the 9/11 prime. So interesting that it topped out on that date. And now here we are 55 years later having the World Cup final in New York. Donald Trump was 55 when the towers went down. So, yeah, that's basically all I got. Just paying tribute to the eclipses.
That's funny. The 7109 is the 9/11th prime, and the 7019 is the 903rd prime. Like the South Tower got hit at 9:03 a.m.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I forgot about that. But yeah, you're right. The 7019 is the 903. Yeah. Which is also the 42nd triangular. But yeah, you're right. The 903 connection to 9/11 as well. So, I mean, the number 719 is also the 128th prime, just 719. And we know that's a huge, that's a huge connection with the bridge collapse theme. So I'm wondering if I'm just wondering about this bridge collapse stuff with this 719 date. And remember, the eclipse next month over Spain is on 12/8.
Actually, I got an interesting thing to show you then, if that's the case. Since we're talking about the bridge, and usually we're referring to the Golden Gate Bridge, but ESPN posted the photo of all the players, I guess the top players, and it's on their Instagram. It's like one of their pinned. If you want to pull it up, it's like one of their pinned. It's actually like their second pinned photo on their Instagram. ESPN
Okay.
FC. Their
FC
account. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm pretty
hold
sure
on.
they're collaborated with with each other, but on the FC account, it's like pinned on there,
Yeah, I'll pull that up.
And if you look, there it is right there.
This?
Yeah, they got Harry Kane and Yamal right by the Golden Gate Bridge. And you see Harry Kane's right by the Golden Gate Bridge, the tower of the Golden Gate Bridge, and then you have Yamal right in front of it.
Well, look at the 719 right there too. They have the number 719 strategically placed.
I actually checked, right, the date span between when Harry Kane was born to Yamal, and it's actually exactly on the nose, 13 years and 50 weeks, 135, which is the Golden Gate Bridge in Gematria.
Yeah, let me just pull that up here. And I'll just show you the other use for this tool is I have all these guys already in here. So I just got to scroll down.
Oh.
I got Harry Kane right here. I got Yamal right here. So I can quickly find it. And it was between their births. Was it between their births, you said?
Yeah, 13 years and 50 weeks, 135.
Oh, yep, I see it. 13 years, 50 weeks.
Which is the Gematria of Golden Gate Bridge, which is 135.
Yeah, and right. And wow. So what's also it's almost just trying to see here. So look at Yamal though, from his birth to the World Cup final. He's 19 years and 7 days old with the span. So that's the date of the World Cup final.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I remember looking at this before the World Cup final even started. I was like, you mean he's going to be 19 years, 7 days old on that date? Like, I don't know why I didn't just stick with that. Like, that was pretty clear. He's probably going to be in the final. And look at this. He's also going to be 19 years and 1 week old. Like, his name equals 191.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. One of those athletes that are born and bred.
Exactly. And Spain equals 23, like the 23 World Cup. But look at what Spain equals in Latin. Spain equals the day of the year, the final.
Yeah.
The 200th day of the year. So.
That 59, I forgot where that 59 came into play for me. I was looking at something. I don't know if Yamal was born 59 days before the groundbreaking of MetLife Stadium, or if it was like 54, something like that. I forgot where it came into play, but I think, I know where it came into play. Yeah, the groundbreaking of the MetLife Stadium was on 9/5/2007, which was 54 days before Yamal's birthday. And in Gematria, Lamine, I don't know how to say his name, but it equals 54.
Right.
So the groundbreaking of MetLife was 9/5 or 2007. Like Lamine equals 27. 2007, and then he was born 54 days before. And look at that 135 right there.
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
Well, Lamine equals 54, like
Jesuit
son
order.
and Jesuit order.
Oh.
And again, I feel like it's he's kind of like the son, right? He's the young child that was baptized by the guy who has the flag of the sun, and he has that 54 like son, his name. So it seems interesting that all this sun symbolism, of course, and another thing I found out from a subscriber yesterday, just to point out the 9/11 things, I wanted to mention this. You know, the two teams that just played yesterday, the captain of Spain is Rodri. Let me see if I have him in my saved. No, I don't. But Rodri's birthday, the captain of Spain, he where is he? He's born on June 22nd, which is an interesting date. It's the same birthday as the guy who scored the game-winning goal for Spain against Belgium.
That's the date of the Hand of God game.
Right.
Diego Maradona, 22nd June. Yeah.
So 6/22/1996 was Rodri's birth. He's the captain of Spain. And then if you go to the captain of France, which is, of course, I'm blanking now. That's
Kylian Mbappe.
Mbappe. Yeah, I knew it was. I'm tired now, so I'm Kylian. I have him in here for sure. Yeah. Look how many days apart these two captains were born.
Oh wow.
So they just played, the two captains, and they're born 9/11 days apart. And now one of them is going to New York. The one who's born earlier, the one who's born before is the one going to New York. So there's probably something with that. But yeah, that was something I found the other day with a subscriber mentioned that. But other than that, I think. But yeah, great point with this. We just had San Francisco be the host of the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl is exactly 23 weeks before the final. And like if you just go to the Super Bowl LX, Super Bowl LX to the final is 23 weeks. William, Prince of Wales, will be exactly 2,300 weeks. So it's just crazy. We connected this whole Super Bowl this year to William, Prince of Wales. And it just so happens that on the 23rd World Cup, it'll be exactly 23 weeks after the Super Bowl and exactly 2,300 weeks after William was born. So that's just crazy. But they play in King County, right? So King equals 23. So I just wonder how that being in San Francisco might connect also to this. A lot of people have been calling for the Golden Gate Bridge event for a long time. So maybe
this ties into the decode I did for a Spain versus England final. I did back in the beginning of the year. I tied into the Super Bowl because it's about the revenge theme of the Spanish Armada, which used to be the strongest military force in the world, where Spain was the world's strongest empire, being defeated by the forces of England, led by Francis Drake. And Francis Drake, so they're the English versus Spanish thing, which they did have at the Super Bowl because you had the Spanish language halftime show by Bad Bunny. And then you had the Turning Point USA English alternative. So English versus Spanish was a big theme there, which is one of the bases for my prediction. But it hasn't happened yet. But still, Sir Francis Drake, he did visit, he did explore that what is now the San Francisco Bay Area, and Drake's Bay, named after Francis Drake, who defeated the Spanish Armada. Drake's Bay is right in that area where the Super Bowl was held, and who was the one of the quarterbacks in the Super Bowl was Drake May. Drake May was a reference to Francis Drake, and Francis Drake was part of that English versus Spanish theme. And the key there also was the ship that Sir Francis Drake commanded when he defeated the Spanish Armada. The ship was called the Revenge. Spain defeated England in the men's European final 2 years ago. And a Spain-England final would call for revenge. The English women got their revenge over Spain because Spain defeated England in the Women's World Cup. In the Women's European Championship final, England got their revenge. 4 days after Hulk Hogan died, talking about bringing down the twin pillar. Twin pillars on the Spanish flag. Spanish flag is red and yellow. Hulk Hogan wore red and yellow. When Hogan died, I said, "Oh, England is going to get their revenge." But I thought,
look at that, Rambo. This game yesterday, where Spain won against France, was on the anniversary of that game, right? Or is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, that's on the anniversary. It was on. Yep.
And the same guy scored.
He scores. Yeah, he scores big games. Like he scores important goals. He doesn't have a high number of goals, but he's clutch. Like he scores clutch goals. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So wow. I mean, yeah, I'm definitely with you on that because, like, I remember how big of a theme it was at the Super Bowl with the revenge. It was such a huge theme. You had the Revenge of the Sith, the Star Wars, the Dark Side, Seahawks defense. Then you had the Revenge of the Nerds guy die that month. You had this like this Mexico guy, this drug lord got taken out, and he had some sort of connection to the word revenge. I can't remember exactly now what it was, but yeah, there was just a huge theme with revenge. So I would, and look at Sir Francis Drake, Rambo equals 155. We were talking about that.
Yeah, with Diana. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And 250.
And 250. Yep.
United States has turned 250.
So another 250.
Bridge collapse is 250.
Yeah, bridge collapse is 250. Yeah.
There's another 250. Ricky Hatton. He was a boxer. He's from Manchester City fan. He died. So there've been a lot of big English deaths. Ricky Hatton's on a big one. And he died. He's from Manchester. He died the day of the Manchester. They call it the Manchester Derby, where Manchester United play Manchester City. There's two huge giant teams from the city of Manchester. When they met in the Premier League, Ricky Hatton, who's the boxer, who's the very big Manchester City celebrity fan, he died on that day. There have been big deaths. Ozzy Osbourne's another one. But if you take Diego Maradona's death day to Ricky Hatton's death day, it's 250 weeks. And that 250 was big on the cover of The Economist magazine for 2026, the year in advance. So that's, if you take the day Diego Maradona died, which is November 25th, 2020, to the day that Ricky Hatton died, which is September 14th, 2025, 250 weeks. And that's big because Ricky Hatton is a big Manchester City diehard fan. And Oasis is the other celebrity fan. They created the song Wonderwall, which is now the theme of the English soccer fans.
What was that second date, Rambo? What was the date of Hatton?
Ricky Hatton was the 14th of September.
Oh, so Pope Leo's birthday.
Yeah.
250 weeks.
And 4 days. Like, there are some, like,
what's crazy about that is, do you know that Pope Leo, he died on Pope Leo, or the Pope Leo thing, he equals 250.
Wow.
So because that was on Pope Leo's birthday, so which is interesting because as we just said, bridge collapse equals 250 in that same cipher as Sir Francis Drake. So yeah, lots of bridge stuff in the 128. And actually, did you notice that Francis Drake he died on 128? What the heck? So a lot of bridge collapse numbers. I need to go back and look at that bridge collapse in Francis. Oh yeah, Francis Scott Key Bridge. Wow.
And what is the 128th prime number?
719. Yeah.
There you go. The day of the final.
And that's when the eclipse is. That's when the eclipse is too, over Spain next month on 12/8. So it all goes back to this 719-128 code. That we've talked about a lot. Especially since that big day, that bridge collapse, it's been a number that's been highlighted a lot, and especially in gematria coding stuff. So, let's see. So, from that bridge collapse to the final, 846 days. Oh my.
Whoa.
846 days from the Francis Scott Key Bridge collapse to the final. That's when the tower collapsed.
Yeah, and Spain has that twin pillar symbolism, the twin tower symbolism on their flag, which is where that eclipse is unreal. It's going right in between the twin pillars. This is Strait of Gibraltar, Jabal al-Musa on the south in Morocco, and in the north, the Rock of Gibraltar. So that's the twin pillar symbols. Remember Hulk Hogan said the twin pillars are going to come crumbling down? Like, a shout out to AJ. I didn't even know about that video. AJ told me about that when they made that. I think that's the biggest predictive programming ever. It's undeniable. When he said twin pillars are coming down, with his red and yellow theme was Miss Elizabeth and Randy Savage. Who's Miss Elizabeth referring to? Queen Elizabeth I, who was the queen when Francis Drake defeated the Spanish Armada. it goes back to Miss Elizabeth the First. That's how that all fits in. And it was 4 days after Hogan died. That's when I knew, because Drake commanded the revenge ship. I said, no, England's going to get their revenge against Spain in the European Championship final. I knew it. So there's one more revenge to be had, which is England over Spain in the World Cup. And that'll be perfectly even, where England and Spain have 4 finals, the 4 big finals. Spain women will have the World Cup. England women will get the European Championship. And then Spain men would have the European Championship, and England men would have the World Cup. That's if it pans out that way. I mean, still no guarantee. And of course,
and just with this whole thing with Hulk Hogan, the towers crumbling down with Hogan, he has that, as you mentioned, the colors of Spain, but his birthday is actually one day before the eclipse over Spain this year. So August 11th. So the next day is the eclipse. So that's interesting. And, it's just something interesting about the 7. And remember how Ozzy died a few days before that.
On the pi number again, the 227. Right. That's the pi. That's the cycle. The cycle is it's the sun cycle. The sun rises, it has its apex, it sets, it's dead in the underworld, it's reborn, and that cycle continues. That's why they're bringing Leo in it, because Chicago is all about that's where the wheel was invented, in Chicago. And when did they reveal to the world the very first Ferris wheel in Chicago? It was on, I believe it was December 1st. I have to look that up. It was one of the solstices when the Chicago wheel was first unveiled.
Chicago.
You say Ferris wheel 1893. Yeah, June 21st, the summer solstice.
Oh, so wait. So on William's birthday again.
Imagine we're low-key decoding LeBron going to Chicago.
That would.
Wouldn't that be something?
Is that one of the teams that's on his list?
I don't know, but that was on Kobe's list a couple of times.
Yeah.
And this is his 24th season. We'll see.
That's why Leo's part of this. Pope Leo is part of Chicago. Chicago is all about the wheel.
Yeah,
Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Ferris.
Right. It was built to rival the Eiffel Tower. Huh?
Yeah.
The June 21st date, though, that's the birthday of Spain's coach.
And it's also the birthday of Macron, the prime minister of. Was it prime minister or president of France? But
oh, really? So
Macron, yeah, of course they lost.
They lost, but sixes on that.
Yeah, but they lost. They're part of like the light bearer, which is the sun setting. That's what the Eiffel, the Statue of Liberty, which is the light bearer. The sun's a light bearer, crashing in Brazil. That's the sun going down. The sundowns.
His birthday is actually the winter solstice.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, winter solstice. Okay, my bad.
So
yeah,
that's
the
perfect, though. Yeah. That's perfect, though, because Spain beat his country today.
Yeah.
And that's the coach, of course, is on the summer, the sun going up, and then his birthday just is on the opposite,
Yeah, so you saw that in the scene in Brazil where you have the Statue of Liberty, the light bearer going down, and in the background you have the red and yellow McDonald's Royal Arch. That's the sun from the equinox. That's the sun in the above world, from the equinox through to the, from its birth to the summer, basically spring and summer. You have that symbolism in that one image.
Yeah,
that's what it's about. This is about the cycle. This is the number one most important esoteric symbol is the cycle.
Yeah, and it's 48. There was 48 teams this year, so cycle equals 48.
But with that player dying from the Mamelodi Sundowns so close to the final, to me, for Argentina and Liam Payne in Argentina, there have been a lot of big English deaths. Liam Payne, Ozzy Osbourne, and Ricky Hatton. Those are huge. All three of those are huge. So if England wins, a lot of people were maybe taken out in exchange. Those are the big three: Ricky Hatton, Ozzy Osbourne, and Liam Payne.
Yeah, and I find it funny too that the Space Needle's back here on this picture as well, and you got the DNA stuff going on. Hulk Hogan's middle name was Gene, right? I know you talked about that, Rambo.
Yep. There's also Gene Aukerlund. He was the what do you call him? The presenter, hype man.
Right.
Gene Aukerlund, because he was there with the Twin Pillars crumbling down. Gene Aukerlund is the one who said, "Are the whoever their villains, the other two guys, the superpowers, what are they called? Mega powers or something?"
Yeah.
Who are the other guys called?
You mean the mega powers or
the mega powers versus
I think they were just called the Twin Towers, weren't they? You mean the two?
Because there's one guy called Akeem the African Dream.
Yeah, Akeem the African Dream.
But I thought they had like a team name.
I don't know. Maybe. I thought they were just.
It was Mega Powers versus somebody. Yeah.
Akeem the African Dream. Interesting. One Man Gang. He also went by. Interesting.
Yeah, that's when he was by himself, but he had his partner there. That the sheriff. His partner had this like sheriff motif where he had
who was I'm blanking now on who that was with him. I don't know why I'm blanking on this, but what's the guy's name? Big Boss Man, right?
Big Boss Man. Yeah.
It's just getting late, so I'm blanking on things that normally would come quickly.
Yeah, but they had a team name.
Right. Well, like I said, I think. Oh, the Mega Power. Oh, wait. So
they were just the Twin. Oh, they were called the Twin Towers. Okay.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought they were called.
Okay.
So, yeah, they went against the Mega Powers. Yeah.
Again, but the Twin Towers are on the flag of Spain. Spain are the Twin Towers. Spain are red and yellow. And he said they're going to come crumbling down. And they did come crumbling down in the European women's final. Will the Twin Pillars come crumbling down again? I don't know.
Yeah.
One thing I noticed. Sorry.
Go ahead.
I was saying one thing I noticed was when you pulled up that 2014 game, England. The person who scored for England was Cole Palmer.
Yeah.
And you think of Palm, you think of your hand. He's not going to be in this. He's not playing in this World Cup. I think I haven't heard from him or anything.
No, he's not. Yeah, he didn't make the team. That's a shock. He's the biggest shock. Yeah.
But he has that Palm name, and he's playing. Obviously now, tomorrow is England, or today now for me, but England and Argentina. So you think a hand of God.
Yep.
And you think about this guy being absent, and his name is Palmer. It's just we'd have to see how that game plays out now. But I thought if he was playing, it'd be a lot different. I don't know why.
Yeah, something with the hand of God. Yeah, it makes sense. And I think when in that video, like Rip the Script, Cole Palmer was in that, and he had something to do with the Iceman or something. I don't remember that now, but
that's his goal celebration. Now, he does the cross arms Osiris symbol. That's his goal scoring celebration, where cold, kind of ice in my veins type thing.
Yeah. Okay, so then they had some sort of rapper. That's probably why they had some sort of rapper with him. I don't remember what the rapper's name was, but in that Rip the Script, they had a rapper they had like an ice theme. So I'm just wondering, with England, that might be another thing to look at is why did they put the ice theme in the Rip the Script video? They also did have the Spanish player that's in, what was his name? Nico Williams. Nico Williams was in the Rip the Script video.
Ice is part of the Spanish versus English theme. Ice, which is secret. It is a secret police because their identities are hidden. They don't have badges. So it's a secret police. They primarily, I mean, they're going after a wide group of people, but it's primarily against Spanish-speaking people in the United States. So it is, ICE is part of the Spanish versus English theme.
Yeah, I kind of thought there was something to that, and I think that might be another clue. But yeah, I'm getting ready to jump off here. I can't believe how late it is already.
Yeah, we were going in today. We had a lot of great stuff today.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. And Josh, right?
Yes.
Yeah, Josh, appreciate you jumping in, man. Opening with that 5342 connection. That's crazy, man.
I appreciate that. That means a lot.
Yeah, that's
100%.
I'll probably be sharing that on my streams the next couple of days, Josh, if that's okay. I'll be talking about that.
That's fine. Yeah, thank you very much for sharing the work. It means a lot.
Yeah, Josh, do you happen to have that visual up with your Instagram page as well? I want to make sure that we can screen share that really quick so people can go follow you.
Yeah, I'll pull that up. Let me present my screen again. All right. You guys see that?
No, we're still on KODI's.
Yeah, we're still on my screen. Well, let me take mine off.
Oh, sorry.
Let me try again.
Yeah, I haven't seen the request yet.
There we go.
There we go. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so this is the decode, and then my Instagram's right up there. Decode numbers. I just followed you, AJ.
Awesome. Perfect.
And
yeah.
I'm following KODI.
I'll follow you back, and yeah, you guys. Sorry, it's a little small on my end. Yeah, but make sure that you guys go follow Josh. Decode numbers spelled exactly as is with an underscore at the end.
Mm-hmm.
This is where you guys can find. Was this your latest post?
Yeah, I actually don't have a lot of posts as far as coding goes. I have a lot of highlights. I do give out my plays. Like, you could support me on Patreon if you want, but I as more of like like giving tips and stuff like that. But I used to use it a lot, but I just rather just post like my plays on my Instagram. If people can see it. And then I have a lot of friends who like to gamble on the games and stuff like that. So I like to give out my picks and give out the decodes on that, and as well on Twitter. So I have the same Twitter account, like the same name on Twitter.
Perfect. And all your links are in the. I'm guessing in the profile.
I actually have to put that in there. I actually have to put my Patreon and my Twitter in there. I just got back to Instagram. I came back to Instagram for the NBA Finals, so I just took like a long break.
Okay.
So I'm getting back to it.
Well, we are glad to have you back, man. And yeah, it was good to connect with you today. Rambo, thank you for bringing Josh in. It's always nice to, get other people in the corner every week. So thank you, Rambo, for that. And thank you, Josh.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys having me. It means the world to me.
100%. Yeah, man. You're always more than welcome for sure. I'll keep an eye out for that follow. Yeah, KODI, I know it's getting late for you, man, so I'll pass things off to you for just final remarks and a reminder for those where they can find you and support you, my friend.
Yeah, I was on mute, but thank you guys so much. Thank you, AJ, Rambo, for all your insights and just everything. And Josh, amazing. Look forward to seeing more of your work. And you guys can find me on my channel. I'm streaming this also right now. So Decoding with KODI. buymeacoffee.com/decoding with KODI is the link. And yeah, I'm going to jump right off here probably right after I'm done because I definitely need to get a bit more sleep. So, but I had a great stream and I thank everyone for being here. Do not forget, guys, there's 2 streams going right now. If you just watched one stream, for instance, if you just watched my stream, go hit the like button on both streams. You don't have to rewatch the whole thing, but go hit the like button on AJ's stream. And then, of course, the inverse of that if you were on his, so that we can get these streams out to more people. So thank you guys so much for everything you all do to support the channels, and much love. And I'll see you guys in the next decodes.
Yeah, good point, Cody. Absolutely. We really appreciate the likes and the subs. And yeah, Cody, get some sleep, man. Thank you for everything you do for the show. It was good connecting with you again, as always.
Same to you, brother. See you guys next week.
Take care.
All right, man. Yeah, we'll catch you soon. And yeah, Rambo, please take us home.
Yeah. Again, great show, fantastic show. Thank you, Josh, for contributing what you had to do. I'm glad you're able to get on. And mind-blowing decode. It expanded on the work. I'm glad people can expand the work like that. Amazing. Hopefully that resonated in the community. That post deserves thousands of likes. And Cody for his usual mind-blowing work. And for you, AJ, your contributions as well. Everybody had something that fit in perfectly, even things we didn't even know ahead of time, just spontaneously. It was great. And great show again. And thanks for everybody who watches, for those who haven't watched yet, who will watch later, and for those who contributed. It all made for a great show together. I am working. I just today uploaded an 11-minute video for patrons. Well, I have my written decode, which you saw, which is it's pretty lengthy, but it's primarily based on the two incidents that happened in New York City. There were two skyscraper building incidents in New York City in July. One was the Empire State Building. The two people climbed to the top. The other was the former Pfizer building, which they said the top portion was about to collapse. And I really go in depth on that. Two building skyscraper stories in New York City. And I've gone in depth as to what the symbolism is with that. And actually, it's no coincidence it's happening at the time when New York City is hosting some of the games that World Cup and will host the final. So that's what I'm talking about. And I just put up today a video. That's besides the long written post you saw. I put up a video. It's 11 minutes long, and there'll be more to it. There's so much more to expand on it. And it's titled Empire, because New York is the Empire State. And I go into that empire. It's all about empire. Yeah, so that's my 11-minute video that I put up today. And there's so much more to do, expanding on that. And the World Cup is about to wind up, and I've shared some of my thoughts here. So that's what I'm working on at the moment. So yeah, patreon.com/thetruthcodes, one tier, $5, access to the Codebreaker community Discord server. I appreciate my patrons very much. They're brilliant. And you can see their contributions to both in the comment section and on Discord. So yeah, thanks for everybody. Again, everybody's contribution to this. Again,
thank you.
Yeah, and thank you, Rambo, seriously, once again, for bringing Josh in this week. Once again, Josh, yeah, that is definitely a code for the ages. That's one I'm not going to forget anytime soon. That's for sure. And yeah, keep up the great work, man. Seriously, it's always great to get, brilliant minds into the same corner and help build each other up. That's what it's all about. So thank you again, Josh, and thank you, Rambo. You guys, this is not a typo. It's $5 a month, not a day, not a week. For all of Rambo's content. He also has a free tier, so at the very least, sign up for his free tier. But very much looking forward to that 11-minute video you just posted, Rambo. Thank you again. For those that don't know, my name's AJ Balll Don't Lie, 3 L's in Ball. You guys can find all of my work where we're streaming tonight on YouTube, as well as Instagram. Balll Don't Lie, 3 L's in Ball. We appreciate you guys very much. Make sure you guys stay safe out there. We'll see you guys on the next one. Until next time.
Everyone.
Peace.